Yo, yo. Oh, man. What's up, Dan Can Tech? What's good with you, man? It's good, man. I'll let a few of y'all join up before I start running my mouth. Y'all know how I usually do things here. If you see the busted lip, I didn't get jumped. I was sparring this morning, so I got punched in the mouth. It's all right. I gave as good as I got. Sorry. But either way, I'm gonna let a few of y'all join up. Shout out to all my AKs who support the channel. I appreciate y'all. The memberships was booming last week, so last live actually, not last week. But I definitely appreciate that because that's how I'm gonna grow this channel. So Marcus Montgomery was good. He already a member. He said sometimes you get it. Yeah, sometimes the rabbit got the gun. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But no, it was fun though. My daughter was there. I'm gonna show y'all a recording when I get a chance to upload it. But it was fun. I had fun. I was boxing the young guys, and one of them cracked me in the head with an overhand right. I took it though. What Pinky saying next Friday? He said he said I was scared of shit. He said, but I get they gave me a run for my money though, some shit like that. Oh man. But yeah, like I said, definitely appreciate all of the memberships that were jumping on and joining up last live. I definitely need those. We got a goal. The goal is to get to 1,000 members in this calendar year or less. I don't think it'll take that long, honestly, because my membership's cheap as hell. But we definitely on it. He said Israel Adansia Adesanya. I don't know how to say his name. Adesanya. That's it. Israel Adesanya needs to come train with you. His boxing is horrible. Yeah, I mean, I don't. He lost to a Philly bull too. At that, Piper is from Philly. I didn't think Piper was gonna win that fight. I said, "Damn, Piper gonna lose." And then out of nowhere, once Izzy got taken down, it was a wrap. I don't think it was his boxing that was the problem though. It was his ground game. Like Izzy he ain't shit on the ground. I said, "Damn, you better get your jujitsu game up, bro." I would be spending nothing but my time on the ground or rolling with guys if I was Izzy, because he looked like a fish out of water. I'm like, damn, my sons could beat you if they can get you down. They'll beat your ass because that's all they do is jujitsu. But okay. So what I did though, and we about to get into the show. It's about 33 of y'all in here. So this is the gist, right? I wasn't even trying to figure this out. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I think I figured something out. I was looking at the Jonathan Bullard film because I keep seeing the same clips. When you see the same clips, same highlights. I'm like, okay, these is highlights. But what is his impact on a game and how does he play? First, I went back to look at him with Marcus Dixon because, last year he played for the Saints. He was playing for Marcus Dixon in 2024 when they went to 14-3, the Minnesota Vikings. And I said, well, what was his impact on the field? Why was he so effective there? And he was effective for the Saints too. And what I looked at was two things. There's two things that's going to stand out to you. One, you don't run at this guy at all. Don't run at him. You ain't gonna get nowhere. Two, he keeps linebackers clean. So the linebackers that are around him. If you watch number 51 in Minnesota's game, and also Metellus, Minnesota was running a safety. They were running a 3 safety scheme. But the reason they can bring an undersized safety down into the box or near the line of scrimmage and have him play like this hybrid linebacker nickel role, number 44 Metellus, is because of guys like Bullard. Those guys up front are soaking up so many blocks that these undersized guys can run and slash to the ball a lot more effectively. So it spoke to something for me, and it kind of told me, because the only plays that were kind of getting out on Bullard are when they run away from him and run to the edges. So I said the Cowboys are definitely looking for your prototypical athletic linebacker, sideline to sideline. So it takes certain guys down for me in the draft, and certain guys come up now. Like guys like CJ Allen, even my favorite linebacker in Rodriguez, even though I think Rodriguez can still do it. But Rodriguez is not your sideline to sideline guy. He's a guy like keep it between the tackles and I got you. But it takes certain guys down, and then certain guys that I wasn't really high on, but I liked, but I thought that they couldn't shed blocks as well, are now up for me. Like Anthony Hill Jr. is up. Obviously, Sonny Styles is still up, but guys who might not necessarily shed blocks as well are still welcome in this defense due to the fact that those guys up front are going to make it so that all they have to do is free flow to the ball, read grass, read the blocking assignment, and get to the gap fast as you can. And athletic linebackers will do very well in this scheme, and I'm going to show you why. And you'll be able to see the patterns. They're just going to jump off the screen for you for sure. for sure. Um, he said, "What happens if Dallas misses the playoff? I'm asking for a friend." You're gonna tell me I told you so. I'm assuming that's probably what's gonna happen, and then the world's gonna move on because Israel's at war. It's a lot of shit going on, you know. So football ain't the biggest thing in the world, but hopefully this distraction is enough for you because it's enough for me. And if they miss the playoffs, I'm gonna be mad just like you, bro. But you know they still got to go play. Should we just not play because you're not happy? That was funny. You still got my cell. Yep. Text me the link so I can contribute to you and your channels. Oh, Paul, I got you. I'll text it to you. Let me make sure I got your number still, though. You already know how that go. I ain't called you in so long, man. Let me see. Hmm. I don't know which one. Let me see. Is it well, I ain't gonna put your number out online, but I think it's you if you got an iPhone. That's a test, Paul Wilson. That's a test. I just sent it to you. My man, mom in the ICU, prayers going up. He said, "No one is talking about that. Dallas not making the playoffs again." Okay. I don't see how 2026 is getting sold. How do you sell 2027 if there's no playoffs? What are you talking about though, bro? Like I never understand the fans who jump on before the season starts and start talking about how bad we are before anybody plays. I don't even understand when they start talking about how great we are. I just look at what might we come out here with and why is this what are they trying to do with this game? They still got to go execute. Both the coaches and the players got to go and do their jobs. They don't do it well, just like if I don't do this well, y'all ain't gonna watch me. You get what I'm saying? If I go to break something down, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm not gonna get no members. You're not gonna hit the join button. You're not gonna watch me no more. That's just life, bro. He said, not the iPhone. Oh, that's not you. All right. Well, I gotta just I'm gonna give you my number right after that. You got my email, so I'm gonna email you my number, and then you'll have it. Slim Dandada was good. He said, "How am I selling 2026? What is there to sell? I don't need to sell anybody, kid, at all. But what do I need to sell it for? What I can tell you is what people are here for is to see what we might do, and that's it. That's it, bro. I'm not here to sell nobody on nothing. I don't need to. That's your job. You selling us on why we suck. So keep doing it. It's good. You're doing great. You're doing great. All right. But here's to my point, because I don't want to keep reading that because it's going to distract me. Then I'm going to start, debating with you. He said, people are always talking about the extremes. The truth is always in the middle. That's a fact. Okay. So what I saw, though, on film with Bullard, number one, a lot of people who still pissed off about the Osa trade, y'all can stop. Y'all can stop ASAP. Kid, I'm serious. You spamming a little bit though. I don't want to silence you, but relax for a second, bro. Especially with all the negativity. If you here to just tell us how bad we're gonna be, you can just be quiet. You know what I mean? That's not really you're not adding to the conversation. So just relax for a second, bro. Time you out for a second, bro. You going in. But anyway, because you distracted me. I'm trying to talk. You distracted me with bullshit. You ain't talking about that. We got the same quarterback. All right, cool. All right, you don't like that? Cool. All right, you don't want to watch the film? Cool. You don't like the Cowboys? Cool. I don't care, man. All right, chill. But anyway, point being, when we talk about the Osa trade, and most have been talking about it from polarizing aspect, like either you're for the trade and you're heavily against, not even really against them, but you're just saying, hey, we want to get better versus the run. Or you're against the trade and you say, hey, Osa just bought a house and he could have took Washington's money and he could have did this and that. Some people don't like it. But the film tells you exactly why Osa's not here, number one. Number two, it tells you what the Cowboys are looking for. Like if you look at across the board, you look at Otito Ogbonnia, you look at Jonathan Bullard, you look at Kenny Clark, and then you have Quentin Williams as well. And then we probably add one more to that room. You know what I mean? Maybe two. But with this scheme, you probably want to carry six guys that can play all across the line. You want six guys at least that can play 4-eye, nose tackle, and so on, right? Because we need a lot of bodies, and those guys get tired for the job that they do. It's strenuous. So you don't want the fall off when they come out, right? But Nickel might let you spell those guys too, but injuries happen, things happen. You want some more guys in that room, but that entire room can do one thing very well, and that's occupy the entire line of scrimmage. And when you have one guy, you can see with Bullard and even with Ogbonnia, they were kind of the anchor guys on their teams before, where yeah, other guys were able to soak up some blocks, but they were the dominant run stoppers, right? Now we have those guys. Ogbonnia was one, Bullard was another one. Quentin Williams was another one. Kenny Clark was another one. They were the one of one in the trenches that you had to like really allocate resources to. Now, when you take any of those guys, any of those three guys together on the field at the same time, they're all that. You know, they're all guys that are like just don't run at them. They're going to free up the guys behind them, and they're going to disrupt. If you happen to just slide off of them, if you're a lineman and try to reach block the second level, or combo block to the second level, you're done because they're going to dominate. So when they get one-on-ones, they dominate. And when they get those double teams, the linebackers eat. So that's what you see on the film. And it's over and over again with Bullard. But there's a game last year where, and you guys can go watch it if you think I'm cherry picking because I'm not. Carolina in week, I think 14, when the Saints played Carolina. Carolina ran the ball 17 times. Bullard affected 16 run plays. He only played 16, or they ran the ball 17 times while he was on the field, should I say. And out of the 17 times he's on the field, he affected 16 plays. I said, I've never seen Osa dominate a game like that when it comes to the run or the pass. I mean, he's made plays, but I've never seen him dominate. This was ridiculous. I'm like, yo, Bullard, and he's a 1-year flyer for 2.5 mil veteran contract. I'm like, he's a lot better than his contract would indicate due to his effect on the field. And it's not just the stats that he racks up, it's the effect that he has on the guys behind him. And you're going to see that real fast. I did this one extra slow, extra long, pause, but it's a long breakdown because I want you guys to see the pattern recognition. Like, this is not just, a highlight reel. I want to look at him. You know what I mean? But let's see. He said, with these DTs, it's certainly, I mean, it's a certainty that Dallas will be getting a linebacker in the first few rounds. I looked at the Missouri linebacker Trotter tape, and he's vertically vertically unblockable. He's the best linebacker in this draft. He is unblockable, yes. Not the best linebacker in the draft, no. He doesn't have the top end speed that you want to play sideline to sideline. He's more of a downhill in the trenches guy, not sideline to sideline. Him and CJ Allen are similar to me, and they both will struggle in coverage because they don't have the hip fluidity that you would want for them to be able to, one, affect the run, but also affect the pass and play action. So he can't be, in my opinion, the best in the draft, but he is one of my pet cats. I won't lie. I love watching his film because you can't block him. But here's the thing. He's probably more suited for a 4-3 because, that's when you have to really use his block shedding ability. In this scheme, if we run the same scheme that Marcus Dixon was running up front in Minnesota or something similar, and we're running 3-4, these linebackers don't really have to shed as much, man. I'm going to show you. It's a reason why Ray Lewis loved the 3-4 and who loved Haloti Ngata and those guys in front of him. The other guy, Dan, Tony Siragusa, those guys, McCrary, these guys that soak up blocks in front of Ray Lewis is making him so he can just react and get sideline to sideline. And he's very rarely having to deal with a big body, you know what I mean, dealing with him. He said they are setting up real nice. Yeah, the Cowboys looking good. Real power, strength, and awareness effects. Okay, so those of you who weren't on here, because there's 121 of you on here now, remember, I would much rather you join the channel rather than sending super chats. But if you send a super chat, great. But remember, when I do these breakdowns, I'm about to do it just like the last one. They strike them. I don't really get the super chats that you send. They send them to the NFL because that's who owns the content. So I would much rather you join the channel than send super chats. Some get through, some don't. But if you're trying to support the channel, don't waste it on super chats solely. You can do a membership. Buy me a cup of coffee once a month, and I have a goal to get to 1,000 at least members. So definitely, join up. Hit the join button. It's right down there somewhere, and I'm about to rock and roll. But another thing, if you're looking at my lip and you're saying, "Why is AKOYE bleeding?" I was sparring this morning, so I got punched in the mouth. So it ain't nothing big. It don't hurt, but I'm fine. All right. But that's for those who weren't here earlier. All right. He said, in my opinion, signing of Osa was a desperation signing before we had Clark and Williams. You're probably right on that, brother. He said, I figure they loading up this D line because if the linebacker room is terrible, they can't look that terrible with these behemoths up front. Well, there's something to what you're saying because you're going to see in the film that this scheme is definitely one that's going to make any linebacker better instantly. It's going to give them a boost. But if they're good already, like if you get a Brooks in this scheme, my God, man. Brooks in this scheme it would be almost unfair how good Brooks would be in this scheme because he can shed blocks, he can read, react, do whatever he needs to do. He's a prototypical linebacker and an all pro. But he ain't really got to do a lot of getting rid of guys. And then I'm just showing you from Bullard's perspective. But you got to imagine it's not going to be just Bullard on the field. You're going to have Bullard. You're going to have Ogbo. You're going to have Kenny Clark. You're going to have Quentin Williams. So you got three guys that can do what Bullard is doing in this film. You have three guys doing that. This line is dominant. Those three guys in the middle of the 3-4 is going to make the outside linebackers instantly better. It's definitely going to make those middle linebackers. Like Demo is going to get back to being Demo. Like he's a sideline guy. And that's more of what the Cowboys are certainly looking for when it comes to the type of linebackers they're going to pick up in the draft. I said earlier, those who weren't on here, there are linebackers that I like. Like, Rodriguez is my favorite in the draft, but he actually took a dip with me because of the scheme. When I watched this scheme, the Cowboys are looking for a prototypical sideline-to-sideline athletic linebacker, like your Sonny Styles, your Anthony Hill Jr.'s, those types of guys that can flow sideline to sideline, have good top end speed. Guys like even Harold Perkins Jr., if he were to play linebacker, he's not a middle, so I don't think that helps, but his top end speed is good because these undersized linebackers, even some of the guys that aren't the biggest of guys, they can play here. Like Nakobe Dean would have been fine here because you're not going to get a body on him that often. I can guarantee you that you're not. But we're going to watch why I say that. And then you guys can tell me what you see. And if you disagree, I mean, I'm more than happy to hear it. Hey, AKOYE, do you think they should trade down at 20? Possibly, because, at 20, depends on what's there. I think that my guys over there at Crown Global Media, they only have like 15 to 17 first round grades on, in this draft in the top 100. And if that's accurate, which I do trust Vaj to the death of me. So if that's accurate, I think that the issue would be if you're at 20, are you just going to pick a guy at 20 because you're at 20? Or do you want to trade back to like 30, 32, 39, somewhere in there, and maybe pick up two second rounds or something like that, or a late first and a second or something like that? They can trade back, get a second and a third, maybe even trade out of the first round altogether after 12 and get you a second round pick and a third round pick. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think Anthony Hill Jr. should definitely be higher on their list because my only knock on him was he's an athlete that's a little raw, inconsistent, but he doesn't shed blocks on film that often because of the scheme that he was playing for in Texas. He didn't have to, right? And he won't have to here. So that puts him a little higher now because we need the only plays that you'll see get off on Bullard in Minnesota and even the Saints are the plays to the outside where that linebacker can't get out there. Like Davis over there in New Orleans. He's a little older now, so getting sideline to sideline, you can see he's just missing some of those plays. But then you can see in the Minnesota game, I think it's Cash, forgot his name. The guy with their number 51 name is Cashman or something like that. But basically he has good range, and so does Metellus. Metellus is a safety though, number 44 for Minnesota, and you can see why he's out there. He's able to play as a safety in this game, or in this front because nobody's putting a body on him. And this isn't like one play he was free. This is like, all game. Both of those guys are free. So that's a game changer. And I understand why they're going the route that they're going with these defensive tackle signings, man. They did the right thing. They're doing the right thing, building up. Here we go. Linebacking can be solved after draft. True. We need a cornerback and a defensive end, possible double dip at D end. I wouldn't say double dip, but yeah, we do need a D end. Maybe double dip, one early, one late, one guy that's a rotational guy, or he has a specialty whether he's a pass rush specialist or a run stopper only type guy. Yeah, you could do that. But I wouldn't say we need two pass rushers right now. I think Ezeraku is going to do well with this scheme. You'll see why. And I think Gary's going to do well too. So, that's just me. Do I think that they're going to be Pro Bowlers? Probably not. I don't give a damn. But they're going to be quite effective in this scheme. I can guarantee you that. I think we was gonna let Osa walk and he would be right where he is. He just didn't want to go and give a discount. Probably. I see your point, bro. That wall will dominate much. Yep. You're gonna see it. You won't see it yet. I guarantee you don't see it. I'm letting the people join up. There's almost 200 of y'all in here. Make sure I hit the join button. Do not send me as many super chats as you guys have been sending me. I don't turn nothing down but my collar. But remember, the NFL takes that money because of these breakdowns. So if you want to support what I do, definitely buy me a cup of coffee. Hit the join button. It's like $4. That's it. You know what I mean? I ain't beating you upside the head, but help me sit here and do this full time. That's what I'm trying to do. All right. Sweet spot is 25 to 65 in the draft. Right now it is because there's so much talent there. Like, it's not a lot of top end freakish athletic talent, but there's a lot of talent between 2 and 4 for sure. You are right. So you got a point. You got a point. And then it depends on how you look at guys like Kyle Lewis. You can give him a second round grade or a third round grade, right? As a linebacker, he's a third round grade, and he's not just a third round grade, but he's a specific type of guy where you're like, what kind of scheme does he need to be in? If he's a safety, he got a first round grade for me. And if you took Kyle Lewis at 20, I wouldn't be mad at all if Kyle Lewis was here in the first round as a safety. Like, doing some of the things we see Metellus doing in Minnesota, I can see Kyle Lewis in that role where he's helping you in the box somewhat, but he also has coverage duties, and he's like your free flow guy. And really, the Minnesota Vikings were really playing 5-1-5. So they had one linebacker out there, 5 guys up front, and then 5 defensive backs, because that safety Metellus is playing like he's playing a linebacker role, but he's free. Like, he's like the Troy Polamalu of their team. Not like he's good like Troy Polamalu, but the scheme is affording him to do a lot of the athletic things that he does, and you're going to see that. So good point that you made there. He said, "Tell me the bedroom middle linebacker, not no rookie to be called of the defense." Yeah, I want a veteran middle linebacker too. To be honest with you, I think a rookie would do well just off of raw athleticism, but he'll get tricked a lot, right? Because all rookies do. They have to understand what the game is, and then you also want, if you want to get the best out of that rookie, you don't want just the coaches teaching this guy. You want all the reps that he's watching. He's watching another guy do the reps correctly. You know what I'm saying? You want another guy. You remember when LVE tried to tell Michael Parsons, you don't got to make all the tackles. Well, that wasn't the right veteran to have mentoring Michael Parsons, but someone that he respects, you know what I mean, where he's watching this guy like eat, you know what I mean? That would have been somebody to put behind him, because he would learn how to watch film. He would learn the position the right way if you had the right guys there. If you had like a Sean Lee there, he's learning the position the right way. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. I don't think this front office will trade down because they won't take the lesser value because of this draft class. They will most likely stick and pick. Front office wants to seem they won't they won the trade. They want to seem like they won the trade. Well, if they get something of value for that 20th pick, they might trade for a person. They might trade it for a player. You never know. So yeah, they want to seem like they won, but there's a lot more ways to win other than just picking at 20. So you got a point, but it's not in stone. Would you say Rodriguez is a top 12 pick if they don't acquire Brooks and the Cowboys feel on the 17 players are first round worthy, then picking a linebacker is a must? I don't think Rodriguez is a top 12 pick, no. I think he's a second to third round pick, yes. And if you really, really need him and you were to get him at 20, I wouldn't have been mad at that before today. But now it's like watching Rodriguez and watching what the Cowboys actually need. I think he could play well in this scheme, but his top end speed, I think, would prohibit him from getting sideline to sideline. He's not a sideline to sideline linebacker, but he's good, very good. So I still would want Rodriguez on this team, but I know what the Cowboys are looking for, and you can see it on the film. And I can keep going with the film. I'm gonna give you a long film on it today. He said, "Don't forget James Houston." Yep. He said, "Total domination." Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. The film god is back. Appreciate you. Don't call me the film guy and you ain't a member, man. You know what I mean? Become a member if you think that. I appreciate it. John Lynch and I don't know what for about Tampa. I guess John Lynch and the Tampa Bay Bucks set the blueprint to dominate defense using 4, 3, and 5 man fronts. 4, 3, and 5 man fronts. I didn't see them use too many 5 man fronts, but maybe you got a point. I got to go back. I wasn't watching film all the way back then. No running and major pressure. I see it. Well, you ain't running. You ain't running against this. D line is stacked. I think we should get a cornerback, an edge, and double dip at linebacker. Double dip at linebacker makes sense in the first 4 rounds. After that, go best player available. Mm. AKOYE, would you trade the 20th pick to Miami for a second and all 4 of their thirds? I don't think they would give you all 4 of their thirds for that, but I would trade it for a second and 2 of their thirds, or I would trade it for a second or a third. I would trade it for a third and Brooks. If you gave me Brooks and a third, I would trade it. I would take Brooks in a third or Brooks in a second, and you can have that 20th pick for sure. But they got the leverage with that. Who knows? But I would take Brooks and a second for sure. And you don't got to give me a third if you give me Brooks, because I look at Brooks as a first round talent. You know what I mean? Even though you don't draft linebackers in the first round, but he's still, he's that talented. So I'm already feeling good about this front as is because of the defensive tackles. I do like the safeties and the corners we bringing in too. I do think Bland will play the slot role and CP will have him filling it. Possibly, yeah, for sure. Say, what's up, player? What's up, man? Yeah, make sure I hit that like button too. AKOYE, what do you think about Malachi Lawrence? I don't know Malachi Lawrence. I got to look him up. See, Sneed DT. I appreciate that, good brother. Appreciate it. He says, "What's up, brother? AKOYE shouldn't trade down at 12, but you should trade down at 20." Yeah, that's what I said too. I think 12 you keep, but 20 you don't need it. You know what I mean? But it depends on who's there. Like I would take Mesidor at 20 for sure if he's there. You know what I mean? So there's some players that I still would take. Mesidor is another guy, if you add to this defensive tackle room, who's so versatile because he could play outside linebacker, but he also could play the 4-eye or 3 tech on in the nickel packages. Like he could do a lot. He said, "So AKOYE, in your version, what do you feel like needs to be done before the season starts, to even compete in the playoffs? And bet I'm gonna become a member. That's for sure." So you did that already. So definitely because you just joined up, man. I'm gonna answer your question. In detail. The Cowboys definitely need, like I said, a sideline to sideline linebacker, veteran first, and then a prototype underneath him. If that guy can come in and show Demo and these younger guys how to play the position in this scheme, I would be happy with that. So that's first and foremost. And when I say in the draft, I'm saying you can use draft capital to get that guy. So just because you're getting a veteran doesn't mean it's not affecting your draft, because you can go trade a draft pick for one of those guys, which I think ideally is what you would do if you were going after a guy like Brooks. You're going to have to give up something to get it. So that's number one. Two, you do need a well-rounded edge also that can come in here and do some of those things. The Cowboys might feel like they already have it on the team. I'm not here to argue with them. I think that Christian Parker knows what he's doing, but I would take an edge or a dynamic 4-eye guy like a Mesidor, like we talked about, or Bain if he was there at 12. I wouldn't be mad with Bain either, because they have the flex to them and they're going to help on the outside, and you can push them inside and still have that outside linebacker room rotating. Like you could have a Bain on the field at the same time as a Raku and a Gary because of Bain's flexibility, right? So you can kick Bain to 4-eye, spell one of those guys, one of those big guys, right, and have Bain right there disrupting as well. And then you got yourself a problem if you're an opposing offense dealing with that. That's crazy to have to deal with. So I do think that you have something to go with there. And then you also, we need a freak. When I say a freak, I mean your Caleb Downs, if they're there, your Delanes, if they're there, if Styles for some reason is there and you can trade up. If Styles makes it past the 6th pick, you know what I mean? If you see him there at 5, you start trading, trying to get the 6, 7, or 8 to get him. You know what I'm saying? If you see Styles there, because I think Styles is made for this defense now. I think Styles is made for this defense. Why? He's a free flow. A lot of the things that I knocked him about were the fact that he doesn't have to shed as much, and I think he's going to have to. It's going to be a learning curve to get him to up to speed. But he has the frame and the body for it. He's smart. He's athletic, freak of nature. I think he would be great in this scheme because he won't have to shed as often. He really won't. I promise you, I'm not wrong. I promise you, I'm not wrong with that. And y'all can curse me out for the rest of the season like I usually do. When you was wrong about Miles, y'all gonna tell me when I'm wrong. You was wrong about Kenneth Murray. You know what I mean? The film don't lie. It is what it is. I watch the film. I tell you what the film is saying. If the players don't come out and do what they're supposed to do, that ain't on me, Jack. But it is what it is. In the moment, he won't have to shed blocks if they do what I'm watching on film right now. Hey, AKOYE, do you think this is our defensive front will be elite or just good? They will be. I think we will be an elite run stopping team. I don't think we're going to be in the middle of the pack stopping the run. I think we're going to be top 5 or even number 1 at stopping the run. We have, think about it, when we had D-Law and Hankins, you had run stoppers on this team. Those are 2. We have 6 run stop, flat out. Rashawn Gary can stop the run. We have even more than 6. Rashawn Gary, you can't run at Rashawn Gary. You can't just run at him all day. That's what he's good at. Right? He's going to set edges. You can't run at Morris Leofow either if he's on the edge. Like, that's what he's good at, for real. That's what he was good at on film last year. You know what I mean? Ezra Raku was dominant versus the run last year. That's 3 already, and I ain't even naming the guys yet. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to Kenny Clark, that's 4. Quentin Williams, 5. Ogbos, 6. Bullard, 7. You got 7 guys that can flat out don't run at them. That's it. You got 7 guys up front that if they were on another team, they would be the force player that you do not run at. And they're all up there rotating with each other. That's dominance. You cannot block any of those guys one-on-one versus the run. You're not blocking Morris or Gary with a tight end, but you're going to have to because you're not going to be able to allocate any resources other than that to them because those 3 guys on the interior on your first and second downs, they're too much to deal with. Bullard could start. I don't know if Bullard or Ogbo are going to start because it depends. Bullard's more of a starter at 4-eye. Ogbo plays 4-eye and all up and down the line. Bullard plays all up and down the line too, even though and this is why all size ain't created equal because Bullard is the same size as Osa, but their frame is just different. Their weight is distributed different. Osa's more of a guy that I think ballooned up to 280 because he's just a strong guy. But he's really naturally, he would have been a 250, 260-pound guy. But he was a wrestler. He eats weights, and he ballooned up to that 285, right? But I think if he stops eating and stops his weight regimen, he's going to shrink. Bullard is just a big man, right? He's 6'3", 290. But you wouldn't think that him and Osa are the same weight because they don't play the same at all. Their leverage is totally different. Totally different. Okay, he said, if there was a chance to get Miles to solidify the front, would you give up the picks? Also, do you believe there's a chance of that happening with all the moves that have been done? I think that Miles creates, shout out to Lou Takes for this one, because I think Myles Garrett does create leverage with the Max Crosby conversation. So you can get one or the other of those guys because Max Crosby price due to his knee might come down. Their price may come down because of that, but also because Myles Garrett is there. And I think Myles Garrett now changing the language of his contract is attractive. If the Cowboys could go get him for the 2 first-round picks, would I give it up? Yep, in a heartbeat. I would take a second round from those guys or something. They would have to give me something in this draft along with that. But if I was getting my first pick in the second round and for that I got Myles Garrett, I would not be mad. So of course I would do it in a heartbeat. Yep. For sure. You said you're the only creator I would join as a member. Damn, that say a lot, man. I appreciate that. Need you though. Trade back at 20, pick up the second. Listen, we've been on here for 30 minutes. Y'all know how y'all do me with these chats. That's why I say join up too. Because members, I read y'all comments first. But the reason I say join up is because at the end of the day, I love how y'all be hitting me in the chat, but y'all be keeping me talking more so than doing the film because I be trying to, listen and make sure everybody's heard for being on here. Jay Bryant, appreciate you joining up too, Jay, and I appreciate what you said. He said most of the time a player fails because coaches failed them. Mozzie fell because DQ and Eberflus failed him. I do agree when you watch some of Mozzie's film. Mozzie would have been good in this scheme too. He wouldn't have been, the guy, but him next to Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark as a four-eye guy or rotational guy or even playing nose and those guys outside of him, that would have only made Mozzie better. And watching them prepare would have made Mozzie better too. He would have understood what's being asked of him. I think that he was asked to do too many different things that didn't fit his skill set. I don't think Mozzie's done. I think he's just one of those guys that in your year 4 or 5, you're like, oh, there it goes. Hey, Okoye, a lot of people are saying Tate Carnell Tate if he's there at 12. If there are no good defensive players on the board left, I don't know that I want to do that. Would you do it? I would. I mean, I wouldn't take any offensive players at 12, me personally. But they Shotty said that he's not going to shy away from taking a top offensive guy at any position. So if that were to happen, I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't like it. He said, Osa really a DN to me. So God said that. You're right. So I think so too. I think Osa would have been okay in this scheme too. Don't get me twisted. I think he would have been fine outside as a 4-eye guy, but not at 20 million. I don't need a $20 million 4-eye guy. That's the problem. Now I don't need to pay 60 million for those 3 guys. I can go get a guy like Bullard. I'm gonna show you a game from Bullard, and I challenge y'all to do this for me. Tell me whatever game, because I might be forgetting. Tell me one game where Osa's dominated the way Bullard did in this game. I'm gonna show you. And Bullard, who knows who Bullard is? Nobody's a no-name guy, but I've never seen Osa have this much of an effect on his run snap count ever. I haven't seen him do it. It's gonna be at the end of this film. I don't understand when we say a guy has a second or a third round grade and not use our first on him. If we can't trade back, we're going to have to overdraft or overpay if someone falls. Yeah, you're going to trade back if you got a guy that has a second or third round grade. That's people do that. We do it. We would do it, I would say. Y'all got to remember teams have to want to trade up. That's true too. If we get stuck with our picks, I would like to use one on the defense and trade the other for a vet if we can. I wouldn't argue with that. Wayne's World. One more from Jay, and then I'm going into the film. He said, thanks, so God, as I've been with my brother for years, it's just official now. Man, yeah, for life. All right, yeah, remember, hit that join button if you guys want to support the channel. You could throw super chats up too, but the NFL usually takes those from me probably like a week or two later. They don't do it live. They'll hit me with a strike, and they'll say, oh, we're not going to take your video down or block it, but we are going to take that money. They do that all day. So that's how I'll end up doing this for free, even when y'all sending super chats. That's why I say they don't do that with my memberships. I would much rather you just buy me a cup of coffee, hit the membership button. I do appreciate the $20 and $30 super chats and all that, but not necessary. Just hit the $4 join button, and I'm gonna keep doing these live 4 or 5 days a week. I got you. All right, but let's go into it now. I gotta get to it because y'all still going, and I ain't even get to the film yet, so that's a problem. Hold on. Share screen, window. Boom. One to share. Boom. All right, let me make sure y'all can see me, and then I'm gonna get busy. Y'all can see it. Let me get this out of here. Boom. And let me blow this up. That's much better. All right, let me go back over here. And this is the other thing y'all get. Like, I don't even do this because people be trying to figure out what I do. I don't show people how I break stuff down. Like, y'all seeing the behind the scenes too. So make sure I respect it, because I used to do this for just the members, but I'm doing this public and live now because it's the best way for me to just get these out fast, so I got to do it this way. I don't want to take forever. And if I would have waited for this one, I would have had to do a voiceover. I'd have to do a lot to get this out to you. So I don't even bother. Just follow the thumbs up. That's for those who are jumping in. The thumbs up also mean hit the like button. So I ain't got to keep saying it. When y'all see that thumbs up, hit the like button. But also that's telling you where Bullard is. All right, so this is all Jonathan Bullard's film, okay? Let's go. Let me get back in there. All right. I can't read your comments while I'm in this screen, so whatever you guys are saying, I can't see it, but remember, hit the membership button. All right, so Bullard's here. I don't think he does anything on this particular play, but what I want you guys to get in the habit of paying attention to is number 44 and number 51, okay? Pay attention to 44 and 51, all right? 51 right there, Cashman, I think his name is. Boom. So this Bullard here. One thing you can't do is run at the guy. You run into his gap and he's singled up, you ain't going nowhere. If you run into his gap and he doubled up, He's probably causing a traffic jam somewhere over there so his other guys can eat. You know what I mean? But watch 51 and 44. And watch Bullard, he's real violent, but you see Bullard stands his guy up. But look across the line. It's not just Bullard. So 97, 61, all those guys up front. The entire offensive line is occupied right now with those four guys, with Bernard, Bullard, 97, and 61. And then you see this guy kind of sneaking out trying to get to 51. But 44 and 51 pretty much were clean for most of that, right? For most of it. You can get to the second level late against these guys, but it's very difficult because it's not because they're defensive holding. That's what we were doing with Zimmer because we didn't have the right guys. He was just saying, like, just hold. But you don't need to hold. These guys are such a force up front that you really can't get rid of them. So, if you see how he singled up right there, if he singled up, he gonna knock you back into your gap. Now here, 51, let's see, I think he hesitates. He got to hit this gap. 51 waits for the action, and then 44 got sealed off, and they get a touchdown out of it. So you notice I didn't just put his highlights where he did great either. I put everything, the good, bad, and the ugly. And I'll tell you, the ugly is he ain't chasing nobody down. He's slow as hell. He ain't a pass rusher. Bullard ain't a pass rusher at all. You see them try to make room right there with those cutbacks, but you're going to see the trends, right? And it gets better and better because I started off with these because I didn't hide anything. Like every game, this is game for game impact. So I took each game and the amount of snaps versus the run that he had, and then you can count how many effective plays he has versus the run. Same thing here. He cuts this off. Bijan's cutting back. This is on Cashman. So he cuts it back right. He sends the ball right to Cashman. Cashman needs to make this play, but he takes a little bit longer shedding here, and that's why I like linebackers who can shed. But he trips out of the shed, and then Metellus, number 44, has to go get him. But you can see those are the only plays that really get out on against Minnesota, the plays on the edges. You're not really running up the middle because if you run at Bullard, this is what you get every time. Don't run at him. You already seen 2 plays. He made 2 tackles, and then other plays, two other plays, guys are making tackles because of him. But you see that he tried to block it with a tight end. He ate him alive, killed him. You know what I'm saying? Same here. Bullard here. He's in his gap. And now 51. You see 51 there? Boom. Look at 51 and 44. Look at the entire offensive line. So 63 is sneaking out to try to seal 44 on the backside. But 51, there is no one that can even bother trying to block him. He had enough time to break down once, right? He breaks down here. Boom. Breaks down again. And then go chase the ball. And this is why I say the Cowboys need a sideline athletic linebacker, because the only plays that are sneaking out on this film are the plays to the edges, right? And you need a guy that can get out there. But these guys will not be blocked. Those 4 guys up front right now are occupying all 4 of those offensive linemen. 67 is trying to sneak out, but 51, you see how he just sheds him real quick with his feet. He just, boom, he's done. So now 44 and 51, did they get touched on that play? No. Once again. You know what I mean? So this is the effect that Bullard is having on the game. It's not just the stats. They run away from him this time because when you run at him, you get nowhere. So you can see they allocate, even cutting him. They cut him with 2 guys. Why the hell would you cut one guy with 2? I don't think they know what they were supposed to be doing on this play, maybe. Oh, no, they tried to cut the other guy. Okay, so they tried to cut 61 and Bullard so that they have somewhere to cut back to. 61 is sealing that, but watch 44. And he's only a safety, right? But nobody's going to touch him on this play either. 51 gets sealed off. Metellus gets to make that play because those guys up front, not just Bullard, but those guys up front, and you can just imagine Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, they're a lot better than what we have here. So Bullard next to those 2 guys are going to be even worse. Imagine Bullard being the worst guy on your the worst run stopper on your interior defensive line, because he's not better than Kenny Clark. He's not better than Quentin Williams. So this is your worst guy if you start those 3. If you start Ogbonnia, same thing. This is your worst guy. This is why I say we're going to be dominant. Look at that. The wall that he created right there, boom. You're not going anywhere. But look at 51. Anybody touching him? He's pushing him in his back, but not really. 44 and 51 untouched again. Watch how many times you see it. It's not a one-off thing. It's not a gimmick. It's not a fluke. They don't touch those guys. And if they do, they can't get them at the right angle. Look at 44 and 51 again. They're going to cut Bullard again right here. Boom. But 44 runs right to the ball. Nobody touches him. How often did we even see that? How often do we get to see something like that? Matter of fact, let me see. I think I got something for you right here. I want to show y'all something just so you see what I'm talking about. The difference. Let me just pull out of here real quick and give you one more video. I want you to see what I'm talking about because it's really crazy when you look at it from this angle, right? I think it's an OSA film. Boom. All right. Let me get out of here fast though, because it's the Denver game. Where is that? Watch this. This play right here. Watch the linebackers here, right? So this is a 4-man front. And this is why I don't like the 4-man fronts. But watch this front. Watch the line. Watch how quick the guards get on those linebackers. And watch what happens to Kenny Clark and Shamar James immediately. Watch Shamar James and Kenny Clark. Kenneth Murray. Watch those guys. Ready? At the snap. At the snap, those guys are hit already. At the snap. Shamar James on the ground. Kenneth Murray, done. Now everybody blame Kenneth Murray and Shamar James for that, right? I do think they should shed better, obviously. They're not shedding linebackers, but here's who's at fault for this. Look to your left. Look for Elam to your left. Elam's right there being blocked by number 19. Right there. You see Elam? Watch Elam. This is why I don't like Elam, and I don't like Darion Kendrick either, because they do this. They don't want to tackle. They don't even try. He just lets you run right by him. You know what I mean? But that is the difference. So don't forget it. That's the difference. That's very different, night and day different from what you're seeing right now on film. Let me jump back in here. Appreciate you joining up, Ross Tax. I will get to your question in a second. He said, damn, he said, I got to read this now, man. He said, Mr. Darius, sorry for the stop payment. Wife left me and divorced me, so stuff has been a little bit crazy, but we'll support soon. Hey, man, ain't no problem, man. That sounds like some shit, man. I understand. I've been there before. I've been divorced, so ain't no problem, man. Still appreciate you. Ain't nothing. Let me get back to this other screen. All right. Boom. All right, here we go. So let's see what's happening here. Boom. Watch 44. Anybody touch him? No, because all those guys, there's chaos going on around him. Ain't nothing for him to do. Everybody yoked up. Everybody. It's always one or two guys able to run straight to the ball. Now he got to finish. But see, these are the only big plays you see, right? When they sneak out, like that'll be a big play, or they run to the edges. Other than that, you don't see that many big plays running right at Bullard. You don't run right at this guy at all. And even when you run away from him, those other guys can hold their own. But look at this, 51. Again, now 44 is getting blocked this time, but Van Ginkel and 51 free on that play. It's over and over again. It's going to be these guys make it so that two guys behind them are always free. Now here, this is how you beat them. You better trip them. I put this play in here because he did give up a touchdown here, right? But look at this. 61 is going to knock his guy into Bullard's legs. Bullard can't get through there. And I think 51 is the only linebacker on the field, and he gets sealed off right there, jumping into the wrong gap. He should have went over the top of this. He tried to go under the guard there. 51, watch 51 over here. He tried to go under. If he goes over the top, he makes this play. He meets this ball right over there in the gap. But he went under, and he made a mistake there. But again, he ain't the greatest linebacker, but he will. Whoever's here is better for it because 51 is making hella tackles in the film, right? Why? Because those guys up front are keeping them clean. Like right now, look at this. This is you to make plays, baby. Make plays. All you got, if you can run to the gap, hit grass, and tackle real well, you make plays. He giving up touchdowns because he ain't that great, but he's getting to the ball because these guys up front are making it so you can't deal with them. Now, look, this is why I say you need a sideline guy, because these are the only plays that were effective against Bullard and against Ogbonnia at all. You had to run outside. You can't run in between the tackles against those guys because those linebackers are free and clear. And if we get a sideline ace that can get there like 51, like he's a little late. He late there. You know what I'm saying? We need a guy that can get there. I think your Rodriguez's and those guys are guys that'll be like this. They can in between the tackles, they're gonna be great. Like 51 looks good between the tackles, but whenever you see a play outside, it's a problem. Now 44 gets out there, but he's a safety. That's why he can do it. You know what I mean? But look at that. Straight to the ball. Nobody's touching these guys. Straight to the ball. We've seen where our linebackers get manhandled every play. They're having to deal with a 340-pound guy running full speed at them because those guys up front weren't worth a damn, and they weren't able to hold those guys up. Boom. Look at 51 right now. He's in there. Boom. 44. Is he in there? Untouched. 76 might get a little piece of him right here. Boom. But he's still able to make the play. Well, he's still able to disrupt it. I think he tackled 76. He tackled the wrong guy. But he's still there. He was there free and clear all the way over to the end of the play. Boom. Let's see here. Same thing. 51, 44, free. Bullard's in there making a mess. Those guys get it cleaned up. Now, these aren't plays that Bullard gets credit for, but it's a reason why Marcus Dixon, his coach, his position coach, said, hey, go get me my guy. This is why he went and got him, because this is the effect that he has on the game. And if you actually do run at him, that's it. You getting bear hugged. It's done. If you run right at him, it's a wrap. Here again, you'll see. He jumps inside, right? What do you need here? You need a guy that can get out to the edge or get sideline to sideline. Bullard's inside on that play. Let me go back to it. He jumps into his gap, boom, into the B gap. When he does it, right here, you see Martellus is out there though. 65 got to the second level, but he can go out there and run with him. And he's a guy that can run because he's a safety. You need a linebacker that can run like a deer. That's why I like Anthony Hill Jr. and Styles as my two linebackers. Even this, when you try to cut it back at Bullard, you saw that gap there. Like I said, this is your worst guy on the defensive line on the interior. Boom. And he's a beast. I like Bullard. I never knew who he was, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think an 11-year veteran, but I didn't know him. But watching him on film, it's like, God damn. Like, you can't block him one-on-one because that's going to happen. You block him one-on-one, he eating those blocks up. And this is from 2024, but I know everybody and you see I put that in there because you can see he does lose. He lost on this one. So this is 2024. He gets folded on this one, trips, boom. But look, 51 and 44, because of those guys up front are occupying every offensive line and the tight ends on this play to a point where 51, 22, and 44 are free to go get the damn ball. So if you got an athlete that can just run out to the edges, see 44 just kind of hesitates there. That's why I say you need a sideline guy. Because if you got an athlete that can get out to the edges and just can run to space like Demo does, Demo's going to do great in this as long as he stays healthy, because he's going to get opportunities like this all day. Look at 51. Again, he's not that good a linebacker to me, Cashman. But if he was, he would be great in the scheme. But he looks a lot better than he actually is because of who he's standing behind. He's standing right behind Bullard, and Bullard does these types of things. You can't run at him, and if he is blocked or double teamed, you're running free every time. Those are the two things that stand out in the film. You can't run at him because this is happening. And if you run away from them, those other guys are free and clear almost every time. Once again, look at this. Boom. You run away from them. Great. You can't run at them, so you got to cut away from them right here. But look at the offensive line once again. They're all occupied with that front four. All of them. So Martellus is free. Make the play. Make the play. 51 meets him late. Make the play. Again. Seattle had a good plan for that, though. They were I think they caught them attacking. They caught 51 and 44 attacking a couple times. Seattle did pretty good in 2024 against this. But still, boom. You see my point. You run at him, you're going to have to cut off that, and then everybody's going to rally to the ball. He doesn't get credit for those tackles, but he's the reason that they're still able to make those plays. This is what I meant by they attacked as well. You could tell they were looking for 44 or 51. They said, we got to get a body on those guys because, and we got to hit the line of scrimmage fast. They just ran a gap run. That was the first time I ever seen anybody in the 6 games I watched run right up the middle while he was on the field. And that was because of what they did to the linebackers. But you see what I'm saying? The edges, once again, there's 44 out there, but the edges are where you have to run against this type of scheme. And that's the same. So it tells you what type of linebacker you need. You need one that can run sideline to sideline and run to grass, because that's what's required in this scheme. You're not looking for a guy that has, it's great if he can shed blocks. You want him to be able to do it. But if he can't, it doesn't hurt you as bad. You don't necessarily need a downhill guy like a CJ Allen or Joshua Trotter or even Jacob Rodriguez, who I think is well-rounded. because even though they shed well, those guys are not. You don't want they don't attack the line of scrimmage the same in this scheme. You know what I mean? You don't need to attack the line of scrimmage because those guys up front are doing that for you. You have to read and react and then run to the grass in this scheme. You see how patient. Look at when was the last time you seen, even if y'all say Kenneth Murray was trash, or even Shamar James, who I think is trash, right? Or even Demo, who I think is great. When was the last time a linebacker had this much time to just sit there and wait for something to happen? Look at 51 on this play. Just watch 51 again. Watch him. You can watch what Bullard is doing. That's why I'm, showing you him. But watch what 51 and 44. 44 goes in attacks, and that's why I say you don't need a downhill guy because you don't need to attack. See how 44 attacks the line of scrimmage? You don't need to attack the line of scrimmage in this game because these guys will have the time to read and react to what's going on. Look at 51. He's just waiting. Boom. Still makes that play for a loss or for no gain. This is a linebacker's dream. Look at this. Make the play. How hard is it to be a okay to good linebacker if you're playing in this scheme? LVE would have probably been good in this scheme. You know what I mean? You ain't got to shed no blocks. Just run to the ball. Run to the ball. It's crazy. It's crazy. I love it, man. Love it. Boom. And this is what Marcus Dixon is bringing here. I love it. Watch 44 on this play. Watch 44 right behind Bullard. Boom. 51 attacks, gets blocked. 44 free. Boom. Go clean up. It's over and over and over again, game by game. Now that was the entire Seattle game, and I showed the Atlanta game. Right. I haven't shown highlights. This is like every snap that Bullard is on the field. If it was like something actually going on, other than the kneels and the quarterback scrambles, I didn't put those in. But other than that, it's every snap. These are all his snaps when he's in a game. This is what he's doing to a game. All right, and this isn't even the dominant game that I'm talking about. But you can see in 2024, look at how many guys are running to the ball right now. Watch this. You got 24 free, Grenard's free, 22 obviously is free because he's all the way out there. But in 51, free. Go get the ball. They all meet at the ball because those guys up front, those three guys in the interior are really doing the most damage. You know what I mean? They're occupying the entire offensive line. Look at this. The line is occupied. 51 was free. Boom, 44 and 51 got blocked. When those guys get blocked, that's when you can spill out. So the teams that actually have gotten yardage against them in certain plays, not in the game, but in certain plays, was because they were able to get a hat on those two. Or those guys were attacking the line of scrimmage. Like you see 44 looking like he wants to blitz right here. Boom. But even when they do attack, so here's the effect when they attack. Because 44 attacks right there, Bullard doesn't get a double team, and then he wins. 51 still doesn't get touched. He laid out the break. But watch Bullard. When he's one-on-one, he gonna spank you. You ain't doing shit with him. Boom, one-on-one, done. Get out of here. He wins. Here we go again. Let's see what happens. And this is raw. I just did this morning, so this is not even like I've been watching this film for days. Watch this. Boom. He takes his man right to the gap, crushes him. But watch number 0 right there. Watch 0. We got a 0 too. Nobody touched him. Boom. Right there in there. He got blocked in the back a little bit. Right around here. Right there. He got hit in the back. But nobody touched him to this point. Boom. And then watch 51. Y'all lost him. Look at 51. 51's on the backside of this play. Nobody touches him either. Both the linebackers meet at the ball with Bullard. You know what I'm saying? This is what he does. And this is why I say this will be a linebacker's dream if we get a prototypical athletic linebacker. We in the money. Boom. Look at 0. Go get the ball. 51's right here. 51's going to attack. So he's going to get blocked or engaged with right here. But 0, nobody's touching him, right? Boom. Watch this. Go get the ball. Make that tackle. It makes linebacker play very easy, especially from a run perspective. Watch this. Boom. All right, so you're not running that way, right? Cutting it back right to 51. You get what I'm saying? Over and over again. It's almost impossible to not be a good linebacker when you're playing in this type of scheme. Look at this. Boom. They right off of each other. 51 and 44 right there. 51 attacks well on this one. I like how he came downhill on this one and attacked. And then 44 is playing right off his hip. Watch this. Smack. And that's because those guys slanted, Bullard and those guys slanted the opposite way. And boom, there he came to clean up too. Let's see. He playing in that. He playing in a 4. That's just a 4. Boom, Bullard coming to get you. Smack. And you can see the effect that he's having on these games. Look at that. Now this here is a touchdown, right? But Bullard did his job. 51 is going to get caught up in the mess right here. Like, boom. See that? Why are you? He attacking this gap. You didn't need to. You could have been a little more patient here, and he got washed out right in there. Boom. And he's the only linebacker behind the line of scrimmage. He's the only one on the field. So once he made that cut, Jacobs had him. He had him dead to rights. But Bullard did his job. Boom. Bullard did his job again. Stops his feet. Grenard gets to come across there, and 44 cleans it up. Look at that. These guys are running free and clear, folks. Now let's watch 51 on this same play again. 51, where is he? He gets blocked here, but 44 is coming off the edge. He was playing nickel on that play. Boom. Again, let's see what's happening here. Free. It's just guys running free to the ball. He was smacking Detroit up a little bit too. Look at these guys. Look at this, man. Who's that? 0. Watch this. Look. Right to the ball. Nobody's touching them. This is the type of play. These are the type of plays Demo was making with Zimmer. Those are the type of plays he's making. And that's why. Because those guys up front are making it so that you can't get a body on any of those guys. Then when you do, when you do get them one-on-one, if you run at him like you do here, look at Bullard. He got pushed out of his gap, still there to make the tackle, but he got pushed out of his gap. But the amount of effort it took to get him out of there, you're not combo blocking and getting to the second level. If you have to do all that to get him to move, it's a wrap. Osa was running right out of his gap for you. You got to move this guy out of his gap. Look at that. And when you try it, like he's double team right here. Split that. Now you see 51's going to pull that blocker right off of 90 right here. He's going to get off of him, right? And then once he's freed up and realizes I'm one-on-one, you got to win right now. Boom, win. Done. That's it. I don't understand why he can't find a home, and that's because this league disrespects run stoppers. But he should have had a home a long time ago. He should have had a sturdy home. But look at 51 off this one. They peel back and block him there. Boom. Just get a piece of him. And there's 44 cleaning that up. Those guys are constantly running. One or both of them are always running clean. 51 could have made that play. And if 51's Cashman was a better linebacker, he would be a problem. Here he is again. He guessed wrong here, right? And that's because Jahmyr Gibbs steps. He counters him. So he's countering. Boom. So he runs to that first gap, which he didn't even really need to do, but he did it. And now he gets sealed right there. Boom. And that creates a big play. The only way you get off on them is if you manipulate those linebackers, but you ain't running that bullet. That's the only way you can get off on this front. And if we get a guy that's smart, like if we get Brooks in this defense, Brooks makes Cashman look like nothing. If we get Brooks in this defense, it's night and day. It's different. It's different. Ball going straight to him. Straight to you. And this is the effect that he has on games. But this is the effect that he's having from I'm just soaking up blocks and letting my guys eat. There go 51 again, free. He's just eating because there's nobody touching him. They won't touch. Remember unnecessary roughness? He was like, they won't. Nobody to touch you, boss. Nobody touching it. 51 is eating. Why you think he eating? He ain't eating because he great. He ain't eating because he's shedding blocks. He ain't eating because he's smart. He eating because nobody is touching him. Even on that play, nobody touched him. But you see, every time he guesses wrong, if he's too aggressive or he doesn't read the play, like right here, he's not reading. You're not reading. Why would you go inside here, 51? But when he reads wrong, first off, you see they're running away from him. Don't run at Bullard, right? But when he reads wrong and they gain the edge, they secure the edge right there. They got Van Ginkel on the ground. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And 51's supposed to be flowing over the top, not underneath this. So he's supposed to be sideline to sideline right over the top of this. And he's over the top of this. He meets this in the C. As soon as Van Ginkel gets hit to the ground, he should be meeting that over the top of it. But 51, you're never going to make this play against Jahmyr Gibbs from the backside. I don't even know why the hell you would take that angle. And even if you were saying he might cut it back into this gap, you got help in that gap because you got Harrison Smith and those other guys over there. So that was just a boneheaded play by 51 once again. This is this year, or 2025 against the Saints, or with the Saints for Bullard. All right. And then this is when you start seeing, because I said, oh, well, let me just see what did he slowing down? Was he playing like ass in 2025? Let's find out. Now, in this Tennessee game, he only played like 11 snaps. Let's count how many snaps he's affecting out of 11. Right. Boom. All right. There's one. There's one tackle for loss, right? Out of 11 snaps. So he already won about almost 9%. Boom. There's two. 2 out of 11 affected. And this is last year. And this is what tells you, watch Davis too. Davis and those linebackers. So 20, I don't know who 20 is. I don't know his name, but they're 20 and 56. Watch those guys. Nobody's touching them. There's 3 that he affected out of 11. Here's 4. He only played 11 snaps in this game, 11 run snaps in this game. Boom. There's 4 out of 11. There's 5. Bounces that outside out of 11. There's 6. Walled that off so those guys can eat in the middle. Davis doesn't have that top end speed to get to the edge either, get to the outside either. Boom. Did his job there. I wouldn't say he was super effective, but this game right here, so I gave him 5 out of 11 plays. That means 1 out of every 2 snaps he was effective in that game in all of his run snaps, which is crazy, right? But this one here, he only played 17 snaps in this game. This game was very impressive for me, and it was in the end of the season, not the beginning. So he wasn't just fresh. He was this is week 14. So, but he played only 17 snaps in this game versus the run, and we're going to count how many he affects. And if you disagree with whether or not he had an effect, I'm not going to argue with you. But when I say effect, meaning 1 or 2 things is happening. He's either making the play, or he's making it so those linebackers are free and can make the play. And you can clearly see that he's doing it. Not, are they running away from him because he's doing too much? You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say that's effect, but it is making them. It makes the offensive coordinator change the way they want to play call. If you're not going to run on the interior, you're not running inside zones, you're not running dives because he's there. That's having an effect on the game as well. But you can say that's a lesser effect if you want. I wouldn't, because I think that if you have to allocate 3 people to Michael Parsons, you say, hey, well, 3 people got to block him. He's affecting the game. He's affecting the way you call plays. Then why isn't this the same? I would look at that similar. And I say he's good as Michael Parsons, because you know how y'all guys do when I name shit like that. Y'all start trying to get me. All right, let's watch him. Boom. Look at that. Look at what he did to Buddy at that. What? Let's get a closer look at this. See, this is y'all get to see how I make these, right? Let me show you. Let me go back a little bit. Boom. Oh, see? Blow him up. Boom. Bam. Slow him down. Look at my mans. Choked him up. Choked him up. Look at what he doing to Buddy with one hand. Free with the other. Boom. That's 1 of 17. That's 2. Remember what Rico and they did what Rico and them did to us last year. Yeah. Look at what he did to them. That's 3. And a stop on 3rd and short. It's over. A turnover and downs, a matter of fact. That's 3. Tell me one game Osa dominated like this. Here's 4. Boom. He just stood this guy up. I mean, you could say that's a 4. I'm going to say it's 4 because he turned it back inside. Here's 5. Smack. He went and got him. 5 out of 17 is already good. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? 1 out of every 4 plays you making, I'm cool with that. Here's 6. Just stood this guy up and you ain't going nowhere. You run at him, you're dumb. I don't know why you would even try it, but you run at him, you're dumb. Here's 7. Now you see. Now I want you to watch Demario on this play, and this what tells you what type of linebackers you need with this type of scheme. You don't want those guys like even though Davis is a good linebacker, he can't get here. Look at this. Boom. You got to get there. You got to get there. He can't turn that corner like that and get to the edge. We need a young guy that can get there. We don't need a young guy that's running 4.6, 4.7. That's smart. We need a athletic linebacker. Anthony Hill Jr., Styles, Sonny Styles are my guys. Those are the guys that I would go at. I want speed at the linebacker position. Or Brooks. Give me speed at the linebacker position. Boom. Here we go again. Let's see what he does on this play. Turns his back inside, but they ain't do their job. Look. Smack. I'm in here. Those guys get cooked out there. They ain't give up a touchdown, though, but they got cooked. He turning the ball. He's sending the ball right back to you. Boom. Bam. So how many did we get to? I ain't even counting no more. Hold up. Let me see. One. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now he 9 for 17 with like 4 tackles. But 9 plays affected. 9 for 17. 9 out of 17 already. 10. Here we go. This was a good game. Where's the run? Like something crazy. I said, okay, I love this guy already. Boom. They cut his legs out right here. Boom. I put this in because, again, you got to run away from him. I'm not even going to say this is 10. It's still 9 because he ain't do shit in this play. He ain't have to do nothing here. But you can see the effect. We ain't going to bother running at him because Bullard is too difficult. But this is why you need a sideline guy, because if you're going to run away from him, you need a guy that can go get it. 56 got to go get this, and he can't. Look at this. Boom. Get cut off there. He slows up. He can't get to that corner. Now, they didn't get nowhere. It's not like they got up the sideline on him, but I just want a guy that can get sideline to sideline almost any play. Again, boom. Cutting the ball right back to you. There's 10. So this will be my 10. Let me see what he does here. Boom. Yep. Take 2 guys out so they freed up. 11. And you could argue we could still be, this could be 10. You know, if y'all want to say those last 2 because he didn't, the ball didn't really come at him, you can say we still at 9 out of 17 with 2 possibles. Cool with me. Here. I would say that's 1. So that would be 10. If he would have ran through his gap, he was getting killed. He cut off that and got killed by everybody else. That's 11. Crazy, right? It's 12. This one you could say he just, he walled his guy off. So I'm going to still say 11. But you can see what he's doing on his side. You ain't running over there. You got to cut this back. Y'all got to be ready for that if you're the linebackers on this team. You need guys that can flow to the ball and use their athleticism and their eyes to do it. Still at 11. Still at 11. But you can see why you need a sideline guy there. So still at 11. 11 with 4 possibles. Boom. That's 12. I'm not, like I said, I'm an Osa fan. And this is not about Osa, obviously. But I've never seen Osa have a game that dominant versus the run or the pass. Like, he might get his sacks here or there, but he ain't working nobody like that. I haven't seen that. And that's just a guy that you just like, who the fuck is Jonathan Bullard? I don't know who this is. No, I know disrespect to him, but I don't know who this guy is. It's the film. But watching that, when I saw that game, I stopped watching the film. I said, I don't need to watch no more. I'm cool. That's it. Because, and to your point, Jay Brown, you say you don't like PFF. Some of the ratings seem kind of arbitrary. Facts. The reason I don't always like what I see with PFF is because of that. I don't know I would love to go back and see what they graded that game for him. Because what his run stopping grade is, because they probably got him in the 70s or in the middle of the pack or something like that. This dude is a beast stopping the run. And I don't know how they're grading, but if you're grading just off of how well did you beat the man in front of you, you're already smacking shit in front of him. But if you're grading off of the effect that he has on a game, when you look at it the way, and I'm not saying I'm an elitist when it comes to the way I grade, but I grade like a scout. Like, if you were watching as a scout and you came here to watch 44, and you said, well, who's 90? Who's 90 that keep 44 clean? That's how I watch. I'm like, who's this guy that just keep making messes? You know what I'm saying? Who's that guy? You know what I mean? So even when he's not making tackles, everybody else out there behind him or around him is eating. The two guys are always free because of those three guys that are in the interior. Always. VR some move. He said it's over 2 years. So guys, I think he's a good rotational piece. He won't give you anything in the pass rush. He has 7 tackles for loss and 3 batted passes in 2024. Run game is his thing. Yeah, he don't need to give you anything in the pass rush though. He's not a pass rusher. He will crush the pocket or collapse the pocket. So will Ogbonnia, but he don't need to give you that. What he do need to give you is opportunities to pass rush, and he gonna get you all of that. Just think about it this way. He doesn't need to be a pass rusher because you got Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark who are pass rushers, right? And him out there with those guys, he is the third guy. I mean, he's just a rotational guy with those guys. Meaning he's the worst one on the line. This is why it's fun to me. If we were trying to build around this guy, or we had him and Ogbo and no Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, I would still like them, but I would say, oh yeah, they're limited when it comes to, pass rush, right? But when you say those guys, Ogbo and him are now going in to spell Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, are they going on the field with Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams? That's a problem because that makes them the worst guys on the field. And in LA, in the Chargers, Ogbo was not the worst guy on the line of scrimmage when it came to run stopper. He was their run stopper. Wherever Bullard has been over the last 3 years, he is the run stopper on the line of scrimmage. He's like their Jonathan Hankins was for us. Meaning Hankins is like one of those types of guys where it's like, nobody's saying Jonathan Hankins is a great guy. Like they're like, he's not great. He's a journeyman, right? But we knew you don't run at Hankins, right? Because he gonna do things like this. It's the same, but he's the worst one, which is wild. Ogbo and Bullard are, they're not Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, obviously, right? So that's why I got excited because I'm like, if these guys are just your guys, just an extra guy in this room with Gary, who you can't run it. I can just keep pulling up film, man. Can't run at Gary. Let me pull some more film in real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll pull some Gary film in here. I'm gonna pull some Ogbo film in here just cause we here. Let me pull it in here. Ogbo versus the run. Boom. And who else we got? We'll go back and find some Gary versus the run too. What I'm looking for, Rashawn Gary run stopping videos. I got his sacks there. Easy. Where's Gary? Where's Gary at? Hold on, people. I don't know if it's the right one. Let me make sure. Look like this is right. Is it with my breakdowns in it? I don't know. Let me make sure that's the right one. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. One more. Sorry, y'all. It's a lot of film in here. I'm trying to find Gary's clips. I got a bunch of Gary clips, but I want the right one. Here we go. All right, I found the right one. All right. And he's another guy. And think about that. We just named all the guys on the interior that you're not just going to run at. Remember, make sure you guys are hitting the like button. It's 250 of y'all in here. Make sure them likes is up. If you guys want to support the channel and you want me to keep doing these live, make sure you guys are hitting the either the super chat button. That's cool, but I would much rather you become a member. Membership is only $4 a month. I'm not beating you upside the head, but that will allow me to do this like 4 to 5 days a week, and I can keep coming up here and hitting y'all with this. And if y'all like it, like what I'm doing, I know it's unique. I know other people aren't doing it, and it's a reason why. I understand why other guys don't do this. It's not that they can't. They don't want to, because if you're doing this for a living and the NFL is taking all the money that you're getting, is why would you keep doing it, right? So I understand why they don't do the breakdowns. But if you want me to continue to do them, and you want to keep seeing unique breakdowns without me having to go send you to Patreon or send you anywhere else or show a clip and then pull it down or try to get super creative with the screen and all that crap, make sure you become members. All right. You said you're late. What did you miss? You missed a lot of Bullard's film and why linebackers are going to love this scheme. He said, "What's good, Hiram? Caution, man. Caution. Maintain low tone. You know what I mean? Barefoot over frosty, though, man. I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain." All right. Let's go back to the film. Let me pull that back in here for y'all. All right. Join back in. Boom. All right. Let me make sure y'all can see it, and then I'm going to keep going. No, y'all can't. Here we go. All right. Let's look at Rashawn Gary. Same thing, though. He's a guy that we just named the other 3 guys that you can't run at. Gary is another guy that you're not about to run the ball at over and over again. You're not running at his side. You'll run away from him, and he'll come get you. But you damn sure not about to run at him over and over again. And these are all his rushes and plays that impact on games that he had after, week 8 where he stopped getting sacks. He was having his impact. But this is Gary on the outside, right? And you can see how much of a load he is. But he just got better, folks. He just got better because of the addition of Bullard, Casey, Quinnen Williams, and Ogbo. Those guys will make it so that you can't really dedicate the same resources to Gary that you once could, especially last year. Your tackles could actually deal with Gary one-on-one because, I have nothing against Wyatt and those other young guys that's over there in Green Bay, but they ain't Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Ogbo, or Bullard. You know what I mean? They're not like that. They're not like those guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think Wyatt has the potential to be, but they're not those guys. And you can see that clearly jumping off the film. But regardless of that fact, just look at it when you try to deal with Gary's side of the field. Like, he is chaos. Even on this pass play, like, he got rid of all that and then went to go get the ball. Like, Gary going to have some fun in this scheme due to the fact that those guys. And then let's watch what's happening here while he's doing all this too. Look at the A gaps, right? So look at 95, 94, and 95. Right, well, look at this. So while Gary's over here breaking this up, 94 is getting good press in the pocket. He's pressing the gap pretty good with his one-on-one. But where is everybody? Where's everybody else? You know what I'm saying? It should have been nowhere to step up and run this ball. That should have been a wrap with the way Gary rushed on that play. Parsons on the left, Gary on the right here. Boom. Same thing. Go get the ball. Boom. Ran at him that time. Made a liar out of me. It's like, no. That was a good block. But good play by Gary too, though. Boom. But yeah, when you run into the side, Gary's doing the same thing. Bench pressing tight ends, getting into the backfield and being disruptive and forcing the ball back away from him. If you got 4 guys now, and I counted, I told you guys you got 7 really that can do this, Gary included. But you got 4 guys at least up front. Even with Ezra Rocco, you could say 5 guys up front that you don't want to run at. I said this before, and I'll say it again. He needs to finish better because right here, Gary got into the gap and didn't finish that play. That was the only issue I had with him, is his finishing. He would have had 10 sacks last year or more, 12 maybe, if he would have finished better. Like, look at this. This is a sack. You gotta counter earlier and finish better, and he would have more sacks. Like right there, you already should have countered, but he's late now. You let the tackle reset, and now you're gonna try to make your move, and that guy's gone. And they're holding him too, but that guy's going. But look at the A gap though. Those guys are getting knocked out of there. That's what I'm talking about. They don't have a Quinnen Williams or Kenny Clark next to him. Look at those 2 in the middle. So one is getting upfield. He's getting good push right there. He's pushing 74. But watch, I think that's 99 or whoever this guy is up at. That 63 is blocking at the top of the screen to the left. Watch this. Eh, get out of here. Done. 63 gets rid of him. That's a wrap. This should be a sack. Should be nowhere for him to run with that ball. It won't be anywhere for him to run if he's playing. They're playing against us because we have guys who can crush the pocket inside of where Gary and Parsons would be standing. Boom. Gary making that play right there. But these are guys that you can't run at as well. This is my point. So the run defense, the Cowboys run defense this year, if you ask me for a bold prediction, they're going to be top 5. If they're healthy, they top 5. I showed this play because obviously I do the good, bad, and ugly. I don't just show highlights. And Gary needs to get his pad level low because you can see here when his pad level stays low, he's stout at the point of attack. It's low this time. He was good. Boom. But still got to finish right here. Finish this. But look at the A gap again. Look at the middle of the field. Look at the middle of the field. Those guys getting pushed out of there. 93 gone already. 95 held up. We ain't got this kind of problem. Look at the linebackers. Everybody yoked up to a man. Walker and Coop Cropper. They both yoked up. Look at that. Boom. We don't got them kind of problems. We don't got them kind of problems no more. You got to finish right here, Gary. But we ain't got these kind of problems. This is what I'm talking about. It's a whole different ball game when you look at what's happening in the A gap, what those guys on the interior are doing. And don't tell me, hey, I don't like Gary, but you not paying attention to what he was playing next to too. Right here, boom. Now he gets held here. He gonna hurt Lane Johnson right there. He threw him and hurt him. But nobody give him credit for that either. You're strong ass dude. He beat Lane Johnson a couple times too. I like that. He beat him for a sack. I don't think it was in this game though, but he did. I think the year before beat him for a sack. And nobody beat Lane Johnson. Michael Parsons don't be beating him. Boom. Can't run at this man. I don't need to show all the Gary film, but as you can see, y'all, those of you who've been watching, have seen all the Gary film. I'm gonna jump to Ogbo. Watch this. Ogbo, I didn't get to call him out. Ogbo's number 93. He's right there in the middle of the field, though. Watch what Ogbo's doing at the nose tackle. So watch the nose tackle, and you know we like Brooks. You know what I mean? We like BB. We like even Bass. Those 3 guys can block. Look at how hard it is for them to get rid of Ogbo by himself. This is why our linebacker is going to be clean. Look at this. Look at them. They combo him right here. Boom. Brooks hit him right in his mouth. He folded him. I mean Booker, not Brooks. Tyler Booker hit him right in his mouth. Watch Tyler Booker hit Ogbo in his mouth. Boom, boom. Right here. He gonna fold all them up. Now look what's happening there at the end of this play. You got Derwin James and his other guy right here running into the gap, but it's just a traffic jam in there. Everybody is on the ground where 93 is because he causes that type of chaos. That's what I mean. These guys are gonna be running clean. Here he is again. Chaos. He's a little more like he tries to get upfield a lot too. I like that about him, but he 340. He's slow as hell, man. Just be stout. Right there, he forces Davis to cut. That wasn't even him that forced the cut, actually. Again, I wasn't calling these out. He's actually lined up over Bass in the 3. So he's 3 tech right now. Watch this. Boom. Let's see what he does with Bass. Boom. Get rid of Bass. The ball got behind him. He just stood Bass up. It was like a stalemate between the 2 of those guys. Then you're going to collapse the pocket here. He's to the right, lined up over Steele. So look for 78. Yep. You're going to take Steele right to the quarterback. Boom. And then, he start haul ass and he's going to fumble right here. Smack. Derwin James forced to fumble. And they got it back. Same here. So he's in 3 tech to the right. Look for 93. In between 98 and 92. Right there. Boom. Get rid of your guy. Collapse the pocket right there. You see what I'm saying? Like we can collapse. We can crush the pocket. If you one-on-one these guys, like there's nowhere to step up. Like we're going to collapse the pocket ASAP. You know what I mean? That's going to happen. Watch the linebackers as well. Same effect that you saw from Bullard, you're going to see with Ogbo as well. Their linebackers are able to run free and jump through gaps and get to the ball. Nobody touched their linebackers at all. But that's because they dropped back and passed on that one. That was a draw play. So it wasn't like they were trying to get to the second level on that play. But still, you're not going to see 43 and 53 touch that often. 43 and 53 got blocked immediately on that one. But he got off of it and made the tackle, though. Boom. Just a mess. This ball bounces back because of Ogbo right here. Ogbo's to your left. Boom. Watch that. Stands his guy up. Stands that guy up. You got to bounce that back to the outside. Those guys run free to the ball. You make a decision. Right now, he's right here in front of you, over the center, right in front of you, 93. Boom. Stands his guys up. Look at 43 and 58. Get to the ball. Free. Free to the ball. This is why linebackers are going to love this scheme. They're going to love the personnel, and they're going to love this scheme. This ain't the scheme. The scheme is what what you were watching with Bullard and Marcus Dixon. But you can see the effects of having those bodies out here. This is the Chargers run that 5-man front though, so similar but different principles. Let's see where 93 is. He's to the left, over the left field goal marker. Boom. There he is in the gap. Make the play. Make the tackle. You one-on-one Ogbo, he gonna beat you too. There he is again to your left. Same spot as last play. He's double team right here, holding the double team. Look at 43 right there in the middle of the field. Look at 43. How hard is it to play linebacker if this is all you're doing? Let's watch 43 again. Y'all can do this. This like Turkey Bowl on Thanksgiving. You just 7-on-7. Look at that. The offensive line is held up by 4 guys. So you got the defensive end or this outside linebacker to your right that's free to run to the ball right there, but he's watching nicks. Or that's a safety, that's a nickel. But then you watch 43, right to the ball, boom. Nowhere to go. Very easy to play linebacker in this type of scheme. Let's see where Ogbo is on this. Ogbo is to your left again. Let's see what he does here. He's taking 74 to the gap. He makes them stretch this play. Now watch 58 on this play. Watch 58. So watch the linebacker to your right. Watch this. Nobody touches him because the entire offensive line already is occupied. And then some. And they got help on top of that. Nobody touches him. A linebacker and then 53 cleans it up. The other linebacker is free too. So a linebacker that can flow sideline to sideline would love this scheme. Now look at 93 right here in the middle of the field. He's holding this guy up. Look at 58 and look at 23. They're just peeking. They're peeking without speaking. Nobody touching them. See what happens here. Boom. Bounces the ball to the outside, gets nothing. He gets you nada. But Ogbo came and got you. I ain't even peeped that. Where's Ogbo at? Ogbo stands this guy up right here. Boom. Stands this guy up easy with one hand at that, just looking in the backfield. Then you're going to get rid of him and get the fuck out of here. Go get the ball. Boom. I like that. I like that. Ogbo's in the middle of the field now, coming down the line of scrimmage. They cut him off. But look at how many bodies. Count the bodies that are not being blocked, trailing this play. And then 58 right there. No, they all just meet at the ball. Nobody blocked none of them. Because when you got those bodies in between, and these, like I said, Ogbo was their run stopper in there, right? So if you look at Ogbo, and I think they have Phillips too, but Ogbo here, right? He's one of your worst that's on the field if you got Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark on the field. You can even argue that Bullard might be better than him in certain spots. But if he's the worst guy that you got, like this is a guy in the past, like the Antoine Woods of the past that we would be trying to build our defense around. You got to finish right here, Ogbo. But you see what I'm saying? Look at this. 53 just plays this way wrong. He didn't read anything. Watch 53 and 50. They're linebackers. I don't know who they are, but they must suck. Because what the hell were you looking? What you looking at? He ain't reading nothing. 58 is just waiting for work. And then he lets himself get blocked. Boom. He makes the tackle, but yeah. Nah. I ain't like that. Ogbo right there in the middle of the field. He's playing 3-tech right now, over 69. Let's see what he's doing here. Ew. Get rid of him. He's just like a wall. You're not moving him. Him and Bullard, you're not moving those guys. Makes the tackle. There's him over there to the left. Same position, 3-tech to the left. Let's see what he's doing. Boom. Those guys on the backside, running free. Running free. You just run and you just run right to the ball because those guys are occupying the entire line of scrimmage. Ogbo's to your right now in the 4-eye over the tackle. Right here, boom, same thing. Look at the ground that he covers on this one too. Let me show y'all this one a little bit. Let me give him some love on this one. Look at Agbo. Look at the mess that he makes. So you got the tackle firing off, trying to hit him. The tackle firing off, trying to hit him, but they doing a twist, right? 99 and Agbo are doing a twist. So tackle's firing off, trying to hit him. He's wedging so that 99 can free up right there. So he knocked 50 all the way out the screen, and then widens out and go get the ball. Boom. Like, did your assignment and then went and got the ball. Ogbo here, just standing guys. He's just being a big body right there. Right there, he's at the nose. What's he doing here? Those guys running free. Yeah, I would even argue that Bullard, his film, his tape is better than Ogbo's for sure. For sure. And Ogbo, like I said, if this is your worst guy and what he's doing is just occupying space and soaking up blocks, I like this guy. Same thing there. Only thing you could do is run away from him. And that's what everybody keeps doing. When you run at him, you already seen what happens. You run at him, he's smacking that. He in his gap right now, so they just cut up the field. Boom. But he's just one of 3 guys that's doing this now versus him being the only guy. Like right here, he's the only. Him and 92 are kind of like holding their guys up, and then their linebackers are able to run free to make the play. But this is going to be more the same for us, other than the stuff that they squilling out here. Like you see here, you're gonna run at him here, start the play, run the front side. Let's cut off of him. Boom. Got to make that tackle on the backside if you Derwin James. Derwin James that was a lazy tackle, Derwin. You got to make that tackle, buddy. You're all pro for a reason, ain't you? You tried to trip him there. Look at Ogbo. So Ogbo's right here to your left. He's running a twist here. Boom. Gets in there. Try to trip Jaden Daniels. Cheating ass. He ain't no pass rusher, though. Don't try to get none of that out of him. Once again, in his gap. Gets pushed down out of here, right here, boom. He jumped out of his gap. But Derwin should have made that play too. I think Derwin trying to play for the money now or something. Like I ain't been watching Derwin James film. Oh, there you go. Come on, Derwin. That's what you're supposed to have been doing. They setting you up for all these free runs and free tackles, man. Go get it. Yeah, what you doing? Tripping. I gotta cut up this Ogbo film, but you guys can see my point. You can see my point. All right, let me come back out of here. That's been fun. Let me see what y'all talking about here. All right, 239 of y'all on here. All right. Let me see what we talking about. He said we talking. Oh, she was telling him what we talking about. Yeah. You got to watch from the beginning if you want to see Bullard's film. I put Bullard out there and I showed why a linebacker is going to love this this scheme for sure. He says hard to stroll when you see AKOYE live. Bigger things for you in the future, my brother. I appreciate that, man. Definitely looking forward to it. First goal is, like I said, to get this channel to a point where it can sustain itself without me having to like add anything from any other business to do it. So I'm dedicated now. You're gonna see me about 4 or 5 days a week, and then I'll have somebody chop up the rest of the footage as well. I got a guy that's doing that for me, and I need to be able to afford them. So like I said, without further ado, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you share it. If you can, make sure you hit the join button. It's $4 a month. And you can, definitely not only ask questions, and I'm going to read your questions first, like it's a super chat, but also on top of that, you can give me breakdown suggestions. Like somebody told me to break down Bullard, who's a member, right? So I listened to your suggestions, and I will break it down. I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night just cutting the film up. And I said, when I get up and get back in the house, I went and sparred this morning. And I said, when I get back in the house, I'm going to go live. So there you have it. For those of you who want to know on here, if you're wondering why my lip is red, I didn't get smacked up. I was sparring this morning, so I got punched in the mouth, and I'm all right. But yeah, definitely think that the Cowboys now need a sideline to sideline athletic linebacker based off of what I've seen. When you see how slow Ogbo is and how slow Bullard is and how they're just a wall, once they build that wall, you need a guy that can react, and get to the gap and disrupt. not only get to his first assignment, so get to your assignment and your gap, but also have the athleticism to peel off of that and go get the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I look at that as now what the Cowboys are looking for. I think they're very high on Sonny Styles, who isn't, but they're probably higher on Anthony Hill Jr. than anyone else because of that. You might like Rodriguez. Like I think Rodriguez on film is like one of the better 4-3 middle linebackers in the game right now in college. I like CJ Allen, but he's a downhill guy. Somebody mentioned Joshua Trotter, another downhill guy. They need a guy that's a prototypical linebacker that can move. You know what I mean? Brooks, that type of guy. If you look at Anthony Hill Jr., I think that he's one of the guys that's higher on my list now, because the reason I was giving him and Styles a knock is because you're playing with guys who are keeping you free, where you don't have to really shed any blocks. But now when I'm watching what our scheme is going to afford you, you're not going to have to shed any blocks either. I looked at, just to check, I looked at the Eagles with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, and Mojo, whatever his name is, or Jomo, whatever his name is. But I looked at those guys, and Bond and Dean were running free too. They're running free to the ball. I'll put that up later. I'm not going to put it up in this film because we already almost up here for 2 hours. But definitely see those guys running free to the ball on a regular. You could just trust me. I think what's important is we have multiple people that if are one-on-one, they will win and create havoc. Yep. And if they're not one-on-one, they still create havoc. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that we have a line that, everybody can eat. There's not just one of those guys. Across the line of scrimmage, think about it. Any scenario you can think of. Ogbo at the nose, Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark outside of him at the 4-eye, right? Already. They all take 2. You only got 5 offensive linemen. If you even brought a 6th one out there like Detroit likes to do, they still gonna eat. They gonna eat that. Then you got your outside linebackers in Gary and Ezzy. No matter what you say about Gary or Ezzy, they definitely will whoop a tight end's ass for sure. So if most of your offensive line, most plays are occupied by those 3 guys, and you have to, or you could say Bullard, doesn't matter, or you could say Ezraku's, he getting spelled by Morris. Morris gonna whoop a tight end ass too. You know what I'm saying? So Gary gonna whoop a tight end ass. Sam Williams gonna whoop a tight end ass. You know what I mean? So when you look at how much better your outside linebackers get, that's why you see us grabbing guys who could just stop the run at outside linebacker, and have some hustle towards sacks. We do want a pass rusher, obviously, but everyone just got better at stopping the run because of those 3 guys. Even Houston, who couldn't see the field as much, because in a 4-down set, he has to set edges, and he has to set edges, put his foot in the ground and like forklift a tackle. He ain't doing that every play. Neither is Micah Parsons, to be quite honest. Micah Parsons was killing this. You give him these guys in front of him. You can play him at linebacker, you play him anywhere. Micah Parsons is killing with this. Demo is going to get back to the Demo that made you guys fall in love with him. When Demarion Overshawn was running and slashing in the backfield, had 8 sacks and 12 tackles for loss, that Overshawn was playing like this, meaning he was killing because he didn't have to do that much. Now he can shed blocks though, and he can cover. But when he has to deal with the trash, Demo is going to love this, especially a Demo that's recovering from those 2 knee injuries. He's not going to have to forklift a 340-pound man running a 5 flat 40, a 5.2 40 at him. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna have to deal with that because they're not going to get a body on him as often. So I think that the Cowboys definitely got better, and you can see what they're doing across the board because, like I said, there's a wall right there. Those front 5 guys, no matter what rotation you use in that locker room right now. I mean, if Morris is on the field, I trust him on the edge to be able to set edges and stop the run. If Gary's on the field, same thing. If Ezraku's on the field, same thing. Houston, I gotta see it. But if he's your pass rush guy and you got 4 other guys that can flat out stop the run, you ain't sliding to Houston versus the run play. You're not trying, let's make sure we get a body on Houston. Nah, Houston is the guy you kind of ignoring because those other guys are going to cause so much havoc if you don't pay attention. That Houston just got better. So those guys up front get better because of the fact that you're stout at the point of attack with those other guys in the interior. I mean, you got 4 in the interior right now. I think you need 1 more. You could probably get him in the draft, and you can work him up behind these veterans. But you got 4 right now: Quentin Williams, Ogbo, Bullard, and Kenny Clark. You know what I mean? And then on the outside, that whole outside linebacker room, Gary, Ezeraku, Morris Leofile, even Sam Williams, I think will be healthier. So I think you can get more out of him with his length and his size. And then you have Houston, who I think might be one of the weaker ones when it comes to stopping the run. But we still do have Wheat as well, and Wheat can stop the run as well from the outside as an outside linebacker. And then in the middle, we're young there and we're empty, right? But you do have Demo. You do have Demo, and I think you go out and get you two rookies and a veteran at linebacker, and you fill that room up. I think the Cowboys understand that they need some veteran leadership in the room, in that room. Shout out to all the ladies that love ball. I see we got a lot of queens watching film breakdown. They are part of the reason I started this. Like a lot of the ladies are asked questions. Like even Sadiqa in the last one was like, "What is a nickel?" I had to show her what a nickel is. But I say that because if the better you understand what's going on, the funner the game gets. When you can see what a guy's supposed to be doing, you're not just mad that somebody gave him a touchdown. You're like, okay, I can see what y'all were trying to do. It don't hurt as bad, you know what I mean? Or sometimes it does because you expect more out of the player. But I'm here to educate guys and gals when it comes to what we looking at and educate myself. I watch it because I want to learn it. You know what I mean, I'm trying to learn what's going on. Like learning Christian Parker's scheme right now, it's kind of hard to do because he hasn't called a play. But I'm trying to watch where he's been or watch similar schemes to try to understand and reverse engineer what type of players he would be looking for. And I think I got an idea for it. And I think he's looking for guys like Demo, but big body. Like Anthony Hill Jr. is probably their number one linebacker right now, I would think. And the reason I say he's number one, because I don't think they think they're going to get Sonny Styles. If Sonny Styles is there, he's obviously that guy. But I think Anthony Hill Jr. is going to be at the top of that list now because of that. He's not at the top of mine. Like I don't think Anthony Hill Jr. is my number one linebacker because he don't share blocks. And neither is Sonny Styles because they don't share blocks. My number one linebacker is Jacob Rodriguez. But this is how much is not about what I want. And I want this for the team. I don't care. What would they go get based off of what the scheme affords them? They need a sideline guy that can turn that corner. When you rewatch this, for those who are just jumping in, you'll watch the Saints with Bullard. Demario Davis can't get to the edge because he's a little older. But in between the tackles, he's solid. Just like we had Sanborn. In between the tackles, he's solid. But you peel out on the edge, he ain't gonna get there. Can't turn that corner. When you look at Cashman from Minnesota, he's good enough, but I think he's average, honestly. But he's good enough. He makes a lot of tackles between the tackles because Bullard is, making it so that he's running free almost every play. But when they run out to the edges, he doesn't quite get there. If you got a guy that can erase those plays in the interior with you, but also peel out to the edges and flat out beat you to the edge and you can't get there as a running back, you can't run nowhere. Especially if those guys on the outside are setting the edges like Morris and Gary. But sometimes they're gonna get double teamed, they're gonna get pin and pulled on, they're gonna get blocked on the edge. And you're gonna have an answer for it. Sometimes they're gonna hit you with jet streams or jet sweep reverses, things like that, screens, tunnel screens, whatever. You're gonna need a linebacker that can read and react to what's happening. And the fact that he's clean allows him to use his athleticism at a high clip. So I think that's what the Cowboys are looking for. So don't be surprised if they don't care. Don't be mad if they don't, like you just named it. Actually, I was about to say it. You hit it right on the head. Hey, Shell Shot 225, I appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you for that, man. Salute to you. But don't be surprised if they don't go get CJ Allen. He's sitting there, or Jacob Rodriguez, because they are looking for a sideline guy. I think Jacob Rodriguez might be able to do it due to the fact that he plays faster than he is because he reads things faster. So he might be able to get to those edges, even though he's a 4.5, 4.6 guy. He can get there. But I wouldn't say he's the top of the list because he's not the best athlete out of all those guys. I think Anthony Hill Jr. and Sonny Styles are. So those are the top two linebackers on the Cowboys board, I believe, based off of the tape. That's what I think. I don't think CJ Allen even gets a look. I don't think Joshua Trotter would be a guy that they would go get because he's downhill. He can't cover. And I think Jacob Rodriguez is probably number 3 for the Cowboys, meaning if those two guys are not there, Hill Jr. and Sonny Styles, Jacob Rodriguez is probably the next man up. But is he even going to be there? But then there's other safeties, other linebackers that we haven't really paid that much attention to because they're fast, but they're not like block shedders. I haven't paid attention to certain guys like the kid from I think his name's Lawson, Deontay Lawson, I think it is from Alabama. He would be perfect in this scheme because again, he's a guy that can run sideline to sideline, and he don't got to be that smart in his scheme. Just run to the grass and smack something. That's what he does, and that's all you got to do in this scheme. Run to the grass, run to the gap and smack something because the gap is going to be there for you. You're not going to have to deal with shedding blocks to get there, and that's the thing that he struggles with. And thinking, he's not a thinker. I still think he needs a veteran ahead of him if you go get any rookie, but Deontay Lawson especially because Alabama linebackers is like they're hammers and everything else is a nail. You know what I mean? And that's how they think. So, that's them. He said 4-5 and 4-6 guys are fast enough. Is there change of direction that will be the problem? That's my point. It's well, yeah, I guess you got a point with the top end speed, but my point is like if I see a guy that's tight in the hips, if you don't change directions well, it doesn't matter how fast you are at 4-5. At your 40-yard dash, it doesn't matter if you're 4-5. It don't matter if you're 4-3 and can't change directions. You got to be able to. You got to be agile and nimble. And guys like Trotter are not that nimble. You get what I'm saying? Guys like Jacob Rodriguez, he is though. Jacob Rodriguez can get in and out of his breaks real fast. So it'll be interesting to see. But I still have Sonny Styles and Anthony Hill Jr. now ahead of them. It might change again. Who knows? But I'm looking at the film and I'm saying those guys athletically are the type of guys that the Cowboys will want and need. More Demo type guys. Demo is one of those types of guys, but he's undersized and he's more of a will. You need one that's a true middle linebacker that has Demo skills. You know what I'm saying? That's those two. That's those two guys. He said, Medusa tough. Where you get it? I need it. I need one. Oh, the Medusa above my head. Where the hell did I get that? Where did I get it? I think nobody bought it. I might have bought it at like a Halloween outlet store or something like that during Halloween just because I like Medusa. And then I spray painted her hair gold, so it wasn't even like that. I did that. So it was green. All of it was green. I took it and spray painted the hair gold and the eyes and the neck. I did that. Like I spray painted this back here to the glove on Muhammad Ali behind me. I spray painted everything that you see that's gold back there. I did it. There wasn't none of that was gold. I did it. Everything. So this Garuda statue wasn't gold. If I show you around my room, you'll see it. But I'm an artist too, so I do shit like that just because I'm bored. In those pyramids, I made these. So I made those with epoxy myself. Made that one as like a family heirloom type thing. I took all like family heirlooms that I had, I put it inside epoxy and made a pyramid out of it. So I did that one. I did this one. That dragon I painted gold. That bowl that's behind me, I didn't paint that gold. And that phoenix that's behind me, I painted gold. So I did all that. But you can probably get it at a Halloween outlet store. I do like it. Yeah, but I did it. I didn't look at the QA on the end of your name. I apologize. Oh, Sadiqa. Yeah, you calling her Sadiq. Sadiq like, I ain't know, man. You better start calling me Sadiq, son. Brian says Styles and Reese can change direction well. Anthony Hill Jr. can change direction. Yep, that's what you're looking for. Reese, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be available for us at all. Styles might fall. If Styles is within 3 picks, we might trade up to get him. If he somehow gets out of the top 5, we might have Styles on this team. I wouldn't be surprised. But none of these guys. He said CJ Allen can't change direction. He's going to get picked on in coverage. Yep, I like him, but I don't think he fits. Exactly. I think he's more of a guy that you play if you're looking for a downhill. He wouldn't do well in Baltimore because he's a Roquan Smith type of guy. You got to hide him in coverage, though, and play him downhill. We don't need that guy. Don't need that type of guy. He said CP said they need their linebacker to be athletic, so Styles and Hill make sense. Exactly. Because Bond is that type of guy. What I'm curious about is what don't we know about Anthony Hill Jr. The film says he's a low first to second round pick, but people talking, but to people have him, but some people have him lower. No, I don't think they have him lower for anything that's bad. They got him lower because you think about it, linebackers like him generally go in the third round. You know, that's why. I don't think it's because he's bad. When you look at Morris, when you look at Demo, those guys are second and third round guys, and he's another one of those types of guys, second and third round guy. He ain't great, but he can be really good in the league in a year or two. Fred Warner was a third round pick. I mean, that's where you get that type of talent at linebacker. You can get a Pro Bowl linebacker in the third round. That's generally where you go pick those guys up. How many linebackers go top 20? You know what I mean? Our first round. They don't really do it that often. We did it that year with LVE and then Rashawn Evans. It came off before him, but they were still top 20 guys, right? It's not that often you see a top 20. I don't even think LV was worth the top 20. I think he was like a third round guy, really, that we liked because he looked like Dolph Lundgren from Rocky 4. You know what I mean? He's just a big, scary white dude. He did look the part. I'm like, yo, he looked like a James Bond villain and shit. You know what I'm saying? So LVE could have been the guy, but his neck. I think his neck really was his issue. I think he would have played a whole different style of ball had he not hurt his leg. I give him a lot of flack because I just want you to win on the field, but I do understand why he wasn't playing up to snuff. I'm not breaking my neck for nobody again. If I broke it once, and I'm saying I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I think that's what's important. We have multiple people that if they're I already read that for you. Yep. I'm just reading all of my members chats right now to catch up and make sure they solid. And yeah, Jay Bryant right here. He said, I didn't like LV coming out. He had one top tier year, and then after that, neck he played soft. Yeah, I watched the play he did. He did it against Gallup because I was watching film on Gallup. He did it against his team. I don't remember what Gallup was playing for. It was a Mountain West conference though. But he ran into the hole. The hole hit the running back with his head down. When you can see the grass, whether you're a boxer or a football player, if you can see the floor and the crown of your head is forward, you got a problem on your hands. And he hit a guy straight like that, and he messed up his neck. Got back in the game though, but he was never the same. And then they gave him that surgery to fuse his neck, and he already got a long neck. He tried to strengthen it up, and he did. And then that first year in the NFL, he was playing like he wanted to make an impact, but he hurt it again in the beginning of his second year, and they called it a collarbone injury because they didn't want to talk about his neck, but it was really his neck. Jerry didn't want to be wrong. He didn't want to say neck injury because he say neck injury, they say Jerry, you know his neck was messed up. He had neck concerns before the draft, and you still drafted him in the first round. Are you crazy? And then he hurts his neck in his second year, and you say collarbone. Then he did it again against the Rams in his third year. They said collarbone. I said, ain't no way that's a collarbone injury. You break your collarbone. Yeah, he ain't got no broken collarbone. He got a broken neck. And we went out and did it again with Clark. And it shows you, stay away from linebackers with broken necks because they not going to play like linebackers because they got a broken neck. I mean, what the hell? How dumb is that? That's like a running back with broken ankles. Like, you know what I mean? A running back with no ankle. Willis McGahee had 2 bad knees. I ain't want him either, but I think he did pretty good in the league. But it's a difference. Your neck ain't your ACL. You know what I mean? Willis McGahee was one of my favorite, but it's like, hey, man, once I watch that knee, once I watch your body go forward and the knee go backwards, Willis McGahee, Jalen Smith, I'm like, oh, shit, don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't do it. Stay away from that, Jerry. Jerry, I think he learned his lesson with that. A lot of linebackers play poor technique. Can't go in with your head down like a missile. No, you cannot, brother. Yeah. I watched, but I see Miami was teaching the dumbest tackle drill ever. They was teaching like a double uppercut dive tackle. I'm like, y'all trying to get them young boys killed. Like, what type of tackling drill are y'all teaching? I've never seen no shit like that. But y'all, and then Jason Taylor is one of those coaches over there. I'm like, how you letting them get away with that? Don't make no sense. All right. Well, listen, I think I've got, oh no, V, I got you. I think I read yours, yeah. He said, yeah, I don't like PFF either. Some of their ratings seem kind of arbitrary. I think I read that too. Yep. Let me see. He said Bullard scored a 64 PFF grade against the run. Solid, if not spectacular. Good rotational guy, except on third down. That's wild. See what I'm saying? I don't like PFF, man. I don't like PFF because when you watch it, they're going off of I guess what you're doing to the guy. You like when you have, and I know some people who work over there, but the way they grade is like this. They grade based off of the position. So let's say if I'm watching the defensive tackles, but it's not in unison. It's like teaching things that aren't holistic. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to teach the whole trinity, man. And what I mean by that is there's three phases to the defense. You got your secondary, you got your linebackers, and you got the front line. And then you can break it down in different segments based off of that too. But if you're just watching defensive tackles and saying, I'm just watching the defensive tackles, and then I'm judging the linebackers. If I got a linebacker that's graded like a 90, right? Because the defensive tackle is simply soaking up blocks in front of him. I grade the defensive tackle higher, not than the linebacker, but I grade him higher than I would because even though he's not making the tackles, he's causing the rest of these guys to eat multiple people. So if you're a force multiplier, you should get a higher grade if you're a force multiplier. Meaning Jason Kidd, that's like saying Jason Kidd will score 5 points in the game, but he got 19 assists. He's making everybody on the field better, on the court better. Why would he be a bum? He'd be like, oh, he don't score 5 points. He's not a scorer. He can score if he wants, but if he scored 30, right, and the rest of those guys score less because he's jacking, you lose. So you don't realize the impact that he has on the game? That's what I'm saying. If Bullard's just shooting up field to get tackles, and he said, I got 5 tackles for loss this game, you're going to grade him with a 90 if you PFF. But the rest of those guys aren't getting tackles because Bullard is trying to do that the whole game and now leaving everybody else out to dry because they're now getting reach blocked or combo blocked. Get what I mean? So I got to give the guy who's causing the uptick for everyone else, I got to give him credit. And you don't do, the PFF doesn't do that enough for me because they're not judging holistically. They're judging position for position. So if I'm watching the defensive line and I'm a pass rush specialist, that's all I'm watching is your pass rush moves. I'm watching how you stop the run. Great. But I'm not watching the effect that you have on the entire game in its totality. And if you're not doing that, I don't care what you're judging, you're wrong. Because they give him a 64 grade. This is why I don't respect the grades. This is why I don't respect it. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, all right, I might look at it and say, okay, I use it to start my breakdowns, like, well, who are the best at this position according to PFF? And then I go watch them. And then I reorganize the guys based off of, like, even when I'm looking at the NCAA, watching some of the linebackers, the top 10 linebackers, you'll see like Red Murdoch has like a 91, but then I say a strength of competition, but he's graded by PFF as a 91 in run stop. I'm like, well, he got a 91 grade because of who he's playing against, right? But let's watch how he's doing it. Is he laboring to get to it? How is he doing it? His all 91s ain't created equal. So he got a 91 and he's graded higher versus the run than Jacob Rodriguez. But what good is the grade? Is he better than Jacob Rodriguez at stopping the run? Hell no. No, he's not. Not even a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So what good is the grade then? You know what I'm saying? So if you have certain grades and you got players that are like Anthony Hill Jr., they'll say 80 something versus the run, right? I'm like, okay. But do we got to shed blocks to get to it? No. So you ain't better at stopping the run than Jacob Rodriguez because he got to shed blocks to get to his run stops and read the play. He's reading the play to get to it. You're not better than him at that. You're not better than him at shedding blocks. You're just running faster to the grass that is wide open because nobody's blocking you. That's good for our scheme, I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, I can't give you a higher run stop grade than the guy who actually forklifting the man off of him to get to it. But PFF will. You know what I'm saying? And they've done it. So that's my issue. I got an issue with that. I don't like it. He said Allen's going to be 8 up in coverage. That's why you're not hiring him. Yep, he is going to get killed. Oh, man. He said, I want Jake Goldday more than Rodriguez. I just like his versatility. Jake Goldday, I don't know who told me about Goldday. Somebody in here did, though. Jake Goldday I like a lot because of his versatility, too. He's a guy, because of his time at defensive end, he can give you outside linebacker flex, and he can play both inside linebacker positions very well. And he runs pretty good. He runs 4.4, 4.5. You know, he's long. He can cover. So I like Goldday a lot, actually. I do. 6'4", too. 6'4". So he's like your poor man's Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles type guy. Like he's your poor man's Arvell Reese in this draft. So if you like Arvell Reese, Goldday is a slower Arvell Reese. You know what I'm saying? He's not as explosive, you know, but he's smart, and he probably has just as good pass rush moves. I don't know how effective they're going to be, but he has moves because he was a defensive end. He knows how to set the edge too. So he knows how to play defensive end and outside linebacker very well. Gold Day is going to be a guy that you're going to look at in a couple years and be like, as long as he stays healthy, you're like, where the hell did he come from? Because I think he's going to be good in this league. He said, I think Rodriguez is faster than you think. CJ Allen is the dude who might not get outside. CJ Allen can't get out there. Rodriguez will get there because he plays fast. And what I mean, like, Sean Lee was a 4.7 guy, right? Something like that. Sean Lee wasn't fast, but he played very fast. Why? Because he knew what was going on. So as soon as he sees something, he already kind of flowing in. He knows what's going on. So it don't matter if you're the fastest guy on the field. You are right with that, Jay. Because if you're the fastest guy on the field, but you're running full speed in the wrong direction, what good is your speed? And now you got to change directions and figure out what's going on. What good is your speed if you're not the fastest to assess what's going on? Or if you're fast, but you don't even get out of the break, you don't even get out of the snap or get off. Why? Why you not getting off? Because you don't know what's going on. You're still reading. You know what I mean? Whereas Jacob Rodriguez is like Luke Kuechly. He's right to it. I'm right to where it's at. I know where it's at. So I'm playing faster than you. So you're right when it comes to his game speed. Jacob Rodriguez is very fast in the game because he's very smart. He's very smart. PFF is using AI algorithms to analyze for some of that. Wow. They don't have enough money to have a knowledgeable person watch every play. The AI is giving them a rating and people spot check the ratings. Oh, yeah, that's another piece. Huh? I ain't even pay attention to that. That do make sense, though. Because I could tell some of the guys who keep talking about, I know some guys who work at PFF, so I don't want to disrespect them. But some of the guys that be talking about certain things, I'm like, what are you talking about, buddy? You know what I'm saying? All right, what are you talking about, buddy? Because that don't make no goddamn sense. But okay. I was on a final interview at PFF to work on the algorithms. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So you ain't lying. You ain't lying. Jay Bryant. That's a good information piece right there. I like that. He said, I've been screaming Jay Goldday at you for the last month and a half. That was you then. Oh yeah, somebody was because I told you like I like Jay Goldday. Yeah, I like Jay Goldday. All right, let's see. Just to be clear, Koye, I like the player. I think he's good for what they will ask him to do, depending on the opponent. Bullard has scored in the high 70s with his run grades. It ain't no high 70s, man. If you look at Bullard and say, what effect is he having on the rest of those guys? Those guys are all Cashman. Somebody go look at what Cashman's PFF score is versus the run, number 51. I guarantee you it's probably, I mean, I don't know what it is. Let me just look. Blake Cashman. PFF grade. Let's see. Let's see what it is. He got a 72 overall PFF grade. And as a starter, he had an 81 in 2025. Started strong with 81 performance against the Lions. His run defensive grade is higher than, see what I'm saying? This is dumb shit. His run defensive grade is 76.3 in PFF. And he ranked overall 22nd amongst linebackers. And he ain't really that good, to be honest. I watched him on film just now, get run by, but he's running free to the ball over and over again. But he's got a higher grade than Bullard versus the run. But the reason he's getting the tackles versus the run is because of Bullard. So how the hell I'm giving him a higher grade? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. He said, Koye, you lagging? Oh, all right, my bad. If I'm lagging, I don't know why. Maybe because I'm shaking my table or something. I don't know. Am I still lagging now? But yeah, that's crazy. That's a good point that you made. But you see what I'm saying, though? It's no way Bullard is not higher than Cashman, the guy that he's clearing shit up for. Let's look at Demario Davis last year. Demario Davis, PFF grade. He had an 88.9 run defensive score. But why? Because he got guys like Bullard that's clearing lanes for him to go hit the ball whenever he wants. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense to me. how he get a lower score if he's getting these guys up. That's what I'm saying. These guys are getting an uptick because he's there. If he's not there, you don't have an 89 score because now you got to get off of a block to get to the ball carrier. If you ain't got to do that, that ain't your score for real, for real. So that's why I don't like it. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like it. He said the math ain't mathing, man. I love that. But listen, listen, those of you who enjoyed this, right? This was a 2 hour and some change breakdown, right? And you should go back and look at Bullard. You'll see why I say this scheme will definitely be good for any athletic linebacker that can flow sideline to sideline. But you want me to continue to do these long breakdowns, definitely make sure you guys are hitting the join button and paying $4 a month for AKOYE to get a cup of coffee. That's all you're really paying for. But I have a goal that I need to hit in order to be able to do this full time. And this is the year for me. If I don't hit the goal, not saying that I'm going to stop completely, but I need to be able to supplement the time that I'm sitting here because I'm supposed to be doing other things. And you know, my family kind of pissed off. Like, they ain't too mad, but they mad enough. You know what I'm saying? But definitely make sure you guys are supporting the channel, and that's how you can support it. You don't have to send the super chats. Just spend $4 a month on the membership, and I'm going to keep doing these 4 to 5 days a week. And you get to tell me, you know, if you go the next tier, you get to tell me which breakdowns you want, and I'm gonna do them. Someone told me about Bullard. Jay, you told me about Gold Day. I broke Gold Day down too on the last video. So you guys tell me who you want me to break down next, especially my members. You guys can hit me up and, you know, say what you want. Matter of fact, all the members that's in here right now, you know, you can tell me, you know, who you want to see next or who you want me to rock with, and I'll review this. When I review the film, I'll make sure I'm gonna show comments on stage too. When I review the film, review the comments, I'll make sure I'll throw that one in. He says, so PFF is analyzing a square on a screen with the player. It does not take into account the context of the play. So that's how Bullard doesn't look good against the run. Exactly. I didn't know that up front, right? All the way. But I do know that because I can tell by the fact that it's no way that you have a grade, like especially for Bullard. It's no way that he has a 60 run stop grade. That don't even make sense. If you watch the film, you don't watch a game. Matter of fact, this is the last thing for those who weren't here because it's 250 y'all on here. I'm gonna give y'all a treat on the way out. We're gonna break down Bullard one more time. I'm gonna just look at it one more time for y'all. And this is all live, no voiceovers. Hold on, let me read what you said first, V. I think it's more fair to judge Bullard against other defensive tackles. I can see how linebackers can disproportionately benefit from good lines in front of them. Exactly. When you got a linebacker that can just run to the ball, ain't like all linebackers ain't created equal. Some of them are actually getting rid of. Some of them whoop a blocker's ass. The other ones don't have to because they can just run to the ball. That's not equal. You don't got to bench press a guy or even get rid of a guy to get to the ball. Then you ain't the same. We ain't cut from the same cloth. All right, let me get this out of here. Let me see. Jump back to the screen. Boom. Back to Bullard. I'm not gonna do Bullard hold on again. But matter of fact, in the beginning, for those who didn't see it, just watch 44-51. So this is Cashman. Cashman has a higher run stop grade than Bullard. But how? Watch this. Bullard's here. All right, you run at him, like I said before, and he's gonna smack you. But look at Cashman too. He's free to run to the ball on almost every play. I don't got nothing against Blake, and I don't got nothing against 44 Metellus either, the safety that's playing linebacker here. But the reason that they can do that is because of guys like Bullard doing this. And that's why these guys can slash in there and get to the ball without, you know, worrying about a blocker getting to them. Those blockers are late to peel off because they have to make sure that they set their block before they finish the combo block. They have to get that guy on to their partner before they can move on. But see here, when you actually get a lineman on them, so when 51 has to deal with a lineman actually hitting them, and it's not even a lineman, that's a tight end. Look at this. He stays blocked. See what I'm saying? I'm giving you a higher run stop score when you don't shed blocks. You know what I'm saying? This is what I like in a linebacker. Get rid of this guy fast and still get to the ball. He can't, but he doesn't have to in the scheme that he's in. He doesn't have to. And that's because of Bullard. So there's no way I could ever give him a grade higher when you get to run free to the ball. Almost every play, you're running free to the ball. So I don't get why PFF does that. I do get it now because Jay Bryant just told me. But you can see on the film what the issue is. You know what I mean? You can see exactly what type of work Bullard is putting in. But I'm not even going to show this game. I want to get to one game in particular, and you can count them off. Y'all guys know where I'm going. I'm going to this season, so 2025. 2025. Let's look at the footage. "2025 versus the Saints." I'm back here. Wow, I get to Gary. I'm all the way up on Gary. Right, versus the Panthers, actually, this game right here. Watch this film, man. Watch this film. He only played 17 run snaps in this game. I think he had 2 tackles for loss, had about 4 tackles, I don't know, that I can count, maybe 4. But look at what his effect is on the game. Like, yeah, Chase Young got the tackle, but why? You know what I'm saying? Because he's causing havoc in the backfield. You know what I mean? This is what you want up front. So Demario Davis, those guys can get back there and make tackles like that right there. Why? Even though he made that tackle himself, but that was a tackle for loss right there. That was the second one. The other one, he got a assisted tackle with Chase Young. So 2 tackles for loss, 3 tackles for loss, and they probably don't even give him credit for that tackle. You know what I'm saying? Out of 17 games, out of 17 snaps, I think we counted. He affected like 11. We were generous with the 11 or 12. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't giving him those. But those plays right there are plays that you're basically saying these linebackers are slashing in there and making these types of hits because of what he's doing up front. Look at this. Because of this, watch, I think it's 20. Who gets in there? No, 20 comes in and pulls one of the linemen off of 92, and 92 makes the tackle. But you can see, straight up, Bullard is in there killing. This one, he's just going to make it himself. Boom. Linebackers stay blocked on this. Look at this. When they actually get reach blocked, look at Davis and look at 20. Both of them. Davis and 20 are blocked. Both of them. But because they're blocked, Bullard is freed up. Smack. Come over there and make the play. No way you can give him a lower grade than those 2 guys. I can't see it in no world. Because he's the reason he eating, and he the reason they eating. Demario Davis just now. Look at that. Nobody's touching. Now let's stop right here. Boom. Count. These 2 right here got 4 guys. So 90 and 92 got 4 guys. And then you got 98, he one-on-one. He's supposed to win here. And then you got Chase Young, who's about to deal with a tight end. Right now, Chase Young is engaged with the tight end. And then you got Jordan out here dealing with a tight end up front. 20 and 56 and 33 can do whatever they want. Just run into a gap and hit something. They both get to the ball free. And Bullard still finishes that play. You know what I'm saying? But they both ran free because of those guys that's in front of him. Bullard right there just dealt with a double team. He pulled his guy off. And look at this. Now, see, if Demario Davis was faster, he would make this play. But watch what Bullard does for him. Bullard grabs the inside of the collar of 74 right here. So look at 98 to the right? You see that? I know y'all see it. Now watch 56. He's still free right now, but watch his right arm. Watch his right arm. Boom. That yank right there. And he's now tripping over 58's leg too. He yanked 74 out of the play to free up Davis. But this is why the Cowboys need to get you a sideline-to-sideline backer. Because if you got guys doing this for you, that linebacker got to eat. You got to get there. He's too slow now. Can't get there no more. Got to get there. But that's wild. You're making guys in front of you and behind you better. That's wild. Boom. Just in the backfield right now. Boom. All right. Where are your linebackers? Let's see where they at. Getting blocked because they read Davis ran why you even run in that gap? Where is he going? He thinks it's the outside zone, I guess. So Davis runs into the wrong gap. Watch 56. Boom. So he runs into that gap, and because Bullard's cutting this off, Rico's going to cut this back. Boom. Tackle at the line of scrimmage. But look how many plays he's affecting. So because I think Davis attacks the line of scrimmage here. 28 and 56 are the linebackers here. Boom. Somebody's blocking 54. 50, blocking 28. 64 is blocking 28. 56, Davis gets under this block and misses the tackle. Here comes Bullard. Boom. Smack. Same game, man. This is all one game. And this is the other thing that I do that other people aren't thinking about. I'm tired of seeing people show me somebody play good or bad, and all you're showing me is their bad. When they were trying to tell me Kenneth Murray's playing bad, they show me just bad highlights or lowlights. Okay. Well, what else did he do in the game? And then let's grade that. That's what I do, no matter who it is. Right. And then if you tell me somebody is playing great, I did this with I'm not gonna say his name because it's gonna seem like I'm picking on him. But I did this with a guy who does work with PFF, and he was showing me Osa doing nothing but 1.5 gapping well. I said, okay, those plays he did do it well. I wouldn't take those away from him if I was watching the film. I'm like, oh, he did it right here. But then when he doesn't do it well, and when you look at the whole game, can he do it for a whole game, or does he do it for 4 plays and then get ran through the rest of the game? You know what I'm saying? I gotta grade that. But nobody, they'll grade the 4 tackles for. He had 4 tackles for loss and 5 pressures in the game. Also get a crazy overall grade. But I'm like, but he gave up 2 touchdowns because he got ran through too. You know what I'm saying? Why you ain't showing that? Boom. Davis can't get to the outside there. See what we got going on here. Make sure you guys let me get some more joins while I'm up here because I'm doing this again. I told you I was on here for 2 hours. I was about to get off, but some of y'all need to join up, man. Hit the join button. Give me 2 more. Trying to get to 10 for this live, but I'm only at 5, so I'm not gonna stay on here long enough to get to 10. I'm not doing it because I gotta go. But let me see. I'm at 6 actually. Somebody just joined. DC Stones, appreciate you, brother. He said, don't worry about it, brother. I have multiple engineering degrees and I program. Oh, that's dope. If it's technical and I don't know it, give me 2 hours. Oh, you like me, man. I might not have the answer, but I know how to get the answer. You know what I mean? That's how I go. I appreciate that. He said, so if you want to watch the best of what Bullard can be, watch Casey Hayward or JJ Watt. That's what you want at the top end. Oh, yeah, that's what you would want at the top end. Like, that's somebody that can affect the pass and the run at a high clip. Hayward is more of a still run guy. He's not really a pass rusher, but he is what you want as a 4 tech, right? JJ Watt is like the guy. You know what I mean? He's the epitome of what you want a 4 tech to be. But yeah, you're right about that. Hold on. I think Chauncey Golston would have been great if they'd have kept him. That would have been his position. Outside linebacker and 4 tech. But let me get back over here. But yeah, give me the 10. We need 4 more members to get to 10. Give me the 10. That's what I want to do every video. Just 10. Boom. All right, let's keep going. All right. We got Bullard to the right again. Let's see what's happening here. You can even see him defensive holding right here. Watch this. Watch his left hand. He knows he's trying to keep this guy off of 20. His whole game plan is to keep his linebackers clean. Look at that. He's trying to keep this guy off of 20. He didn't try to shed here. He didn't try to shed shit. He's trying to keep 20 clean. Look at this. He ain't trying to get rid of neither one of these guys. He holding up ground and maintaining his gap the whole time. That's wild. See what we got going. Boom. He cuts this back into his help. Those guys eat. They're gonna get a high run stopping grade because they stopped the run at 2 yards. You know what I mean? But why were they able to do it? Same thing here. Boom. He does it himself this time. It's like he had a hell of a game this game. I'm like, yo, there's no way. I've never seen Osa have a game that was this dominant at all. But if you're not running at him, you know, obviously you can't run at him. He did his job here. He seals this off. These guys got to spill over, especially you see how the entire defensive line is slanting towards Bullard. See that? See those guys slanting? Those linebackers don't need to be there. If they slant to your right, the linebackers need to flow to your left. Look at them. They stay over here, and now it becomes a kill zone because this guy on the backside, so watch who's this? Number 79, the left tackle, is going to peel off of 54, and he's going to try to get a piece of 28 because look at them. They take those false steps right there. Boom. Now, 79 is peeling off. Now you're done. It's over. It's over. That's what Rico and them was doing to us. You can't get sealed. That's not Bullard's fault. Bullard did his job with those guys. If it wasn't for the fact if these guys weren't slanting, I mean, if these guys got pushed inside, that's different. When you see the defensive line slanting one direction, everybody's first step is to their left or to our right. that means they were slanting. That means as a linebacker, you should be reading the opposite because a running back's reading that first step too, and they're going to cut opposite that if they're countering. But if they ran front side, if he just ran power straight ahead, which he kind of did, he just jump cuts at the very end right here. But if he just ran power straight ahead, he's going nowhere. He's running into the teeth. But he sees that tight end gave him daylight, and the other tight end is trapping across the backside. So you know they're running counter trade right here. They set this up, and boom, they sealed the backside and got themselves some yards because of that. You know what I mean? So Bullard is doing what he's supposed to do. The linebackers, there's no way you can grade them higher, and they probably got a higher grade even in this game than he did. You know what I'm saying? Here, everybody slants opposite, so they slant the other way. And remember when I said Davis is not a sideline to sideline guy? Look at this. Look, he's just reading the blockers. There's no way he's reading the ball because the quarterback stayed over there, so is the running back. They all on the other side. But look, boom. Those guys got to be able to run sideline to sideline. Your linebacker needs to be able to read all of that and clean this up. He ain't gonna be perfect every play, you already know. But you can see that Davis he's using his mind more so than his athleticism at this stage in his career. You know what I mean? But you can see what Bullard is. That was all Bullard's film for the last end of the season. That was week 14. We had 7. There we go. Ander Derman, 37-31. But you can see this was like the end of 2025. So Bullard was beasting regardless. Let me see. New member. We got Andre Durham. Sorry, Andre. I murdered your name. Andre Durham, 37-31. That's my number, 237. That's my favorite number, 137. You'll like that, Jay Bryan, since you're an engineer. Look up the fine number constant. Right, that's 137. I love that. That's like some quantum physics for you, man. That's the God particle number. So if you want to watch the best, I already read that. I'm reading all of the members' comments before I get off. Carolina killed Dallas on those same plays with their tight end blocking. Exactly, Troy. You already know. Don't worry about it, brother. I already read that. Okay. Who else we got? He said you've got to watch Sorry, man. He's a gap filling sideline to sideline linebacker and brings the wood when he hits. Decent in coverage too. You know what? I did watch Sorry though. You know why I didn't like him? Same reason I didn't like Anthony Hill Jr. initially, and the same knock I had on Sonny Styles. He didn't have to shed any blocks. Sorry runs free to the ball, but he's 6'2", 240. And he can run and he can hit. And in this scheme, Sorry actually will do well. You're not wrong. You told me about him before, Justin. I remembered that. I did look him up. I watched him, but I stopped watching him pretty quick because I said, I'm looking for a guy. At that time, I was looking for a guy more like Jacob Rodriguez and more like Trotter, guys that can get rid of blockers because I'm so used to us having to deal with that, where you had guys getting, like last year, you got guys getting to the second level and knocking our linebackers to their ass, right? It's like you need a guy that can deal with a block or two, right? But now you don't need that as much. So I do like Sorry a lot more than I did when you initially told me about him. So good point. But like I said, for those who joined up today, Sneed, DT, Jay Bryant, Ross Tax 6892, Shell Shot 225, DC Stones, and Andre Durham. I appreciate y'all, man. Those who haven't, ain't no big deal. I know, y'all join up eventually. But at the end of the day, like I said, we got a goal to hit this year because once I hit it, I'm doing this full time. So that's what y'all want to see more consistent AKOYE. That's what we doing. I need y'all to help me do that. And I never ask for nothing when I'm on here because I already told you I'm cool anyway. But if I'm gonna take my time away from my business, I need to supplement it because this does require, like I've been home since 2:00. So I've been on for like 5 hours because I had to break down the Bullard film and then I went live. So it took me 2 hours. I did 2 hours before I even jumped on. And I've been on here for almost 3. So that's like 5 hours of work. I can't sit here for 5 hours every day, but I will. And especially if I get the memberships up. So that's what I'm on. All right. But appreciate y'all who joined up. Even those who haven't, I appreciate y'all watching. And if you haven't, the least you could do is share, like, subscribe, and do your thing. Make sure you guys, everybody right now, all 250 of y'all, for me, hit the notification button. Even if you already have it checked, hit it turn it off and turn it back on, because a lot of you aren't getting my notifications either. Even my brother wasn't getting notifications. And it's probably because I was inactive for so long. So hit the notification button and then hit it again. All right. But I appreciate y'all. Until next time, appreciate all the AKs that joined up, man.